W. Hell yeah. Green. What the copy? Right foot down. We got to go, Brad. Unbelievable, man. Way to keep your head in it. Holy ball. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Yeah. What? Yeah. I'm done with it. Fix your face. Set sail. Steve, you look beautiful. Doing great. Ridiculous, man. Holy. You see that? Holy cow. Good job, man. Two times, baby. Yeah. Holy crap. Yeah.
And welcome, everybody, to another episode of the NASCAR Weekly Podcast. Joined once again by all my hosts on this very special of nights. It's the Day of the Dead. It's also my birthday. So welcome, everybody, to the NASCAR Weekly Podcast. Guys, we have a lot to get into. I don't want to, slow down anything too much. I think we need to get right on into the hot takes. And for some reason, I don't have the itinerary opened up. So whoever's going first, go for it. I think Darian's up.
Yep, I got it pulled up. Don't worry. Anyways, what's going on, everybody? Ryan Blaney has finally crossed that bridge. We have been waiting for him to do it for quite some time, and he finally did it. There's an old saying, like, once you get the first one, it all starts pouring in, right? It all starts pouring in. Well, I think he's crossed that bridge to where we will start to see him consistently in the championship four. I know it's his first one, but hey, look at his teammate, bro. Like, once Logano started making it, I mean, obviously that was the first year back in 2014 of the system, but once he started making it, he never stopped, but oddly enough, he makes it in the even years, not the odd years. And hey, Ryan Blaney can take up the odd years now for Team Penske. So we haven't seen the last of Ryan Blaney as a championship contender. Be on the lookout. This would be extremely consistent.
Right. What do you got?
My hot take is that, my gosh, Martinsville Speedway, when it is full, it gets ridiculous there. I'm talking like waiting out an entire stage and a half just to get a hot dog busy. I'm talking they make you wait over an hour and a half before they will let you leave the parking lot after the race. Even if you book it back to the car, you get there before anyone else and you're pulled out and you're sitting there in the parking lot ready to go, they will not let you leave. Oddly enough, I got stuck right beside Bologna Burger in the parking lot, got to chat with him. But with that being said, man, they got to fix that short track package because it was so boring in person. I know on TV, I heard there was a lot they were showcasing, but from the stands, man, it just felt like nothing was happening out there to me. And it's such a shame. So many people turned out. From the stands, though, man, it was just didn't really feel like you could tell what was happening or feel any kind of excitement. And I'm sure you did on TV. I hate to say it, but from the stands, man, that was not exciting, unfortunately.
Wow, that's good to know, because on TV it looked a lot more exciting. It's good to know.
That's kind of a bummer. Happy birthday, Jarrett, first and foremost. It's good to be back. Good to be on your channel. That's not my hot take. My hot take is that Phoenix Raceway is actually a great championship destination. We've talked about this. At least I've had this opinion for a couple of years now. Beyond just the fact that it's a big city, it's close to a big market. The track itself has been renovated, remodeled. Great facility. They sell it out 40,000 plus strong every year. Spring, fall does not matter. Just the on-track product. I actually think it's good that the championship race isn't crazy. You don't see bump and runs everywhere. You don't see pack racing 3-4 wide, slamming into each other. I mean, you do get some crazy restarts because of the way the dog leg is featured, but I'm actually glad that the championship is decided at a non-chaotic racetrack. Because in a one race playoff, I don't want a bunch of flukes to determine the champion. I want the fastest drivers and cars that day to run up front and fight it out between themselves. And for the most part, at least on the Cup side, that's what we've got these last few years. The championship race has been at Phoenix. So I actually think Phoenix is a pretty good championship venue. They can change it. I'd be all for them rotating it. Homestead, Vegas, Charlotte, whatever's possible. But Phoenix is better than a lot of folks give it credit for.
Wow, you actually made those are great points, actually. Really great.
Well,
coming in strong.
I'm going to go on one. It's kind of topical, but I'm going to stick to their Cup program because I think Xfinity is different. But Cup program wise, I'm going to say this: Richard Childress Racing has never been to the level of any of the top teams, like a Hendrick, like a Roush back in the day, a Yates. It was always propped up by their drivers. Dale Earnhardt, of course, one of the greatest, in my opinion, the greatest driver of all time. I think Dale Earnhardt elevated that program. He was the only one that could go head-to-head with prime Jeff Gordon in the early years before his injuries caught up with him in the late 90s. You then fast forward to Kevin Harvick, who kept the team afloat, and even when he had his bad years, he still was leading them. Jeff Burton. Now you have Kyle Busch. The thing is, when you look at drivers who don't exactly elevate the teams they're with, that were with them, they do considerably worse. Again, I'm not just saying like, oh, they're middle of the road. It's like, look at the difference between, say, Kyle Busch this year and while he has the penalty, in Austin Dillon, or look at how Paul Menard would run with that team, or how Mike Skinner would at the time, still hovering around a 10th place, but back then those kind of points finishes weren't as good. So in my opinion, I don't like saying it per se, because I do like the drivers that have went through there. Maybe not as happy with the higher ups at the moment, but I do think that they've been propped up through their entire history by great drivers, some all-time great.
I like Baloney
awesome.
Burger in the chat says, stay away from Welcome, North Carolina for at least a year, Iceberg.
Well, the timing of my hot take could not have been worse, but I will put a poll up in space here.
I agree with Spencer. Darian and Danny definitely lost the hot takes. Yeah, that was like, whoa, y'all brought the heat, y'all. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I mean, I felt like I had a shot, but then Eric pulled that one out. I was like, no, it's over.
Dang, I got 0%. Damn, we haven't seen this. Damn. Oh my God.
You're just out here freezing, Darian.
Oh my God. Wow.
Oh, you're rising. You're rising.
Right, there we go. Thank you, guys. That's 1%.
Darian got a pity vote.
That's what it is at this point. All right, let's continue. That's funny. All right, that's funny.
It got a vote from his mom.
That's awesome. Well, let's go to Martinsville while the poll's running. Let's just see Eric run up the vote at this point. We can talk about how it was at the track or on TV. But I want to talk about Ryan Blaney. We mentioned him in the hot take segment. Ryan Blaney has basically a walk-off win, has continued this, I don't know if I'd say clutch stretch, but continued this, I would say, for his career, unprecedented stretch to end the season. Danny, you were there. Can you kind of tell us, I guess, one, did it look as dominant in person as it did on TV? Because he was passing on the outside all the time on TV. And two, is this momentum going to carry him not only through the championship this year, but into 24, 25, 26?
So fun fact, like early on in the race, I could definitely tell Blaney was fast. He was getting very impatient behind Bubba. He was running behind him. Of course, that's Bubba. That's his buddy. He's going to run him a little bit. But he kept having to push Bubba, bump him a little bit, going into a turn. And I was watching. I was like, yeah, he's trying to tell Bubba, move the heck out of my way. I got a fast car under me. And, from then on, it was just a, slow, steady rise there to the front. And of course, it got interesting when that pit stop happened. So many people stayed out. Him and Hamlin was way back there at that point. Chase was leading for a little while, then Almirola led for a little bit, and then ultimately by the time he got there, it's like, yeah, that's I don't see there was a few cautions and all, but nothing telling me I think we're going to see a wreck. So from that point on, it was, it just seemed clear that he was the card to beat there at the end.
Yeah, I thought Blaney just, in this race, but I won't even expand this to the whole round. Like, I had Blaney out in the round of 16. I didn't think those tracks shaped up well for him. He had been slumping most of the summer, and they got through that round. Once he got through that round, I think sky was the limit, because the round of 12 tracks suited him very well. He got through that round. But the round of 8, this had to be where the dream came to an end, right? No. 6th, 2nd, and 1st these last 3 weeks, because he was this close to winning Homestead. He might have had the best car, at least once Larson hit the bins. He might have been the best car in that race, at least on the long run. Like, where did this sudden burst of speed come from? And again, not just a clutch race, a clutch round. These are the 8 best. Everyone's bringing their best stuff. Everyone's had these races circled for weeks, if not months. And Ryan Blaney, the guy who had 4 or 5. How many career wins did he have before this year? I could basically count them on one hand, I'm pretty sure. Ryan Blaney has won 2 playoff races in the last like 5 weeks and just did that in the round of 8. I'm just impressed not only with his Martinsville, and we know he's a good short track racer. He's been good at Martinsville in the past. I'm impressed with this whole round that he had great speed and kept it up week after week after week.
And then basically, also with this, I saw someone else talk about this. Think back to how big this win could have been if that penalty had not been overturned after Las Vegas. And so think if that had happened and he was in that big hole still and then he won this, think about how big that would have been for him.
And really quick, to answer your earlier question, he now has 10 career wins. So what a special 10th win now.
So he had what, 6, 7 before this year? 7, I guess.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking back. I'm thinking back now. How many wins did Logano have at this point last year? In terms of the season, not career. Obviously.
3. I think his 4th win was the Phoenix race.
It's feeling eerily similar now to Logano last year. In Logano's first championship, 2018, he only had 2 wins going into Phoenix that season. So
the chat's saying 3. Yeah, they're saying 3. Oh yeah, and 4th was a championship, right? 4th was.
So I mean, it's funny how similar that feels.
Yeah, no, and again, like sort of similar to last year, it was a bit of a surprise. I mean, again, just like 2018, we didn't expect Logano to win the championship last year, and then look what happened too. So, look, it's all about momentum with these playoffs. And like I said in the hot take, it is great to see Ryan Blaney finally cross that bridge because, when, one of the most favorable, personalities and popular drivers in the sport finally, makes a champion, is finally racing for a championship, it's a big deal. Now, Blaney may not be known outside of NASCAR circles, a whole lot yet, but, amongst, NASCAR circles, he's one of the most popular guys. So he's definitely going to have a lot of people rooting for him on Sunday.
With that being said, momentum is key. It's very key. But at the same time, last year, who had more momentum than Christopher Bell winning the Roval and Martinsville to get in? I think I had him for sure as a guy I was picking last year. And then also there was Chastain coming off the huge moment at Martinsville to skyrocket himself in there. That was a lot of momentum. And what happened? Logano got in there and won it. So, I'm really feeling like, this could be huge momentum for Blaney coming off of this. But at the same time, what about a guy like Kyle Larson who, had the crazy moment, oddly enough, with Ryan Blaney at Homestead. And then at that point, I saw a picture at the end where crew chief gathered everyone around. They had a big focus meeting. What if they're just focused to go win Phoenix at this point? What if Byron, won there earlier? What if they're just focused to go in there and win Phoenix,
I mean, looking forward at it, in the last 6 years of this format, 3 of the 6 that won that first race in the round of 8 went on to win the championship, including the last 2 years in a row.
Mm-hmm.
So
that's right.
Yep, bodes well for Larson in particular.
Yeah. All that extra time, to set up for Phoenix.
But
although, did you hear Larson said he doesn't do any sim work ever?
Well, that might be a good thing. That might be a good thing because apparently they were talking.
It's worked for him thus far.
Well, they were talking on the broadcast with how far off William Byron was, as apparently they couldn't get the setup right for Martinsville or Phoenix and are having to start from scratch going into this week. And
wow.
I don't know about you guys, but if that's me, I'm going to be either leaning on my teammate or if that teammate's not giving me anything, because why would they give you everything at this point? It is a little bit to be worried about. But before we look forward at that, I want to bring up those we've lost at this point from the playoffs. Denny Hamlin, Martin Truex Jr., Chris Buescher, and Tyler Reddick. And I'm going to ask you guys, I want all of you guys to answer, I don't care what order, who are you most surprised to see miss out on the Final Four?
Denny Hamlin. I'm serious. Denny Hamlin.
If you'd asked me 9 weeks ago, I'd have said Martin Truex Jr. because he was regular season champ, looked untouchable most of the season. But yeah, now I would say Denny Hamlin for sure. But he was minus 17 coming into this race. You knew more than likely he needed to win. William Byron gave him a glimmer of hope by just not showing up. Like you said, Hendrick missing the setup, whatever the problem was. So it is a little surprising. Denny Hamlin had a really strong playoffs. It was that failure at Homestead really that derailed his season. You just can't have a DNF in the round of 8 and point your way through. It's not possible. So he's probably the biggest surprise, at least lately.
Yeah, and I want to go into it a little bit too, like Eric just did. Yeah, and when you look at this season too, and forget all the past history, man, it was just looking like, okay, like there were parts in the season where I'm like, damn, they look really good. I mean, I know we've seen this every other year, but I don't know, just, he seemed so confident. He had his little podcast going and stuff, it was always, I don't know, it's just, he felt more loose and, more free to me compared to other years. But then it all collapsed. And, I had put a question out, after the race, and I was like, do you consider this a choke, or is Denny Hamlin the biggest choker? And a lot of people said yes too, but then also the counter arguments are all the parts failures, blah blah blah. But then my counter argument to that is, well, Hamlin was the favorite. He was the odds-on favorite. He was plus 250, and Larson was like plus 500. So Vegas really thought like, oh, okay, this is damn near close to as close as a guaranteed win could get, I guess, in NASCAR. And, he just doesn't win. And then after the race, his crew chief is like, well, yeah, sure, we had the parts failures, but at the end of the day, you create your own luck too. So I don't know. It's just, I thought this was the year. I really did. Like, all jokes aside, I thought, okay, at the very least, he'll be in the championship 4, but we're back at the same point we were a year ago. So
yeah, I don't think I could even really answer this question, because honestly, Martin Truex Jr. at this point, with how he did in this entire playoffs, he did not deserve to be in that championship for the way he ran. Denny Hamlin, I should say I'm surprised. At the same time, I'm not. It's Denny Hamlin. He finds any way possible to not win a championship. Busher and Reddick, it was a long shot either way for him going into that race. But really, I will answer this. Who surprised me the most that made it is Byron, because they sure found any way possible to try and choke that one at Martinsville, and somehow they still made it. The collapse was definitely there for the taking, but they persevered, I guess. But Denny Hamlin, one thing he cannot say about this year, he cannot say he beat your favorite driver, all of them, because, well, he only beat some of them, not 4 of them.
See, and I love it too. And that's one thing is like, look, when you're like, talking all this stuff, it's like, hey, you got to back it up eventually, or you got to eat your words too. But yeah, I'm sure Hamlin will get over it and he'll recoup for next year.
Eric, what do you say on the whole deal with it?
I saw you ask the chat if Hamlin will ever win a championship, and it looked like the majority said no. And I do think time is running out. I think he's got 2 years left. We don't know what his next contract looks like exactly, but a lot of speculation is it's a 2-year deal. And after that, he'll be 45. I think this is it. I think he's got to get it one of these next 2 years. It could have been this year. It was a missed opportunity. But kind of to your point there, Darian, he's not really like eating his own words, but he did handle the defeat Sunday very graciously.
Oh, yeah.
His interview on NBC was classy. If you listen to his podcast, I think he's moved on already to the like acceptance stage of grieving. And some might look at that and say, well, hey, he needs to take more ownership of, their collapse or them missing. Like, he needs to learn and grow and improve. But you look at how they lost at the end of this year. They could have done better at Vegas. He faded and finished 10th there, which was 7th of the 8 playoff drivers. So he could have done better there, sure. But ultimately, it was a parts failure at Homestead that did him in. If that does not happen and he finishes top 5 or top 10 like he would have, he's most likely, well, I guess it would have come down to him versus Byron. It still would have been close. Actually, he still would have been close.
He would have been in, because he only missed by 8 points.
I guess you're right. He would have been in. Yeah. So he would have beat Byron. It would have been close. So you could say that, like, so when you consider that it was a parts failure and not really a driver failure, he finished 3rd on Sunday. He had the 2nd best car. They showed up. They went down swinging. I actually like Hamlin's attitude. He's like, hey, I'm the best. I'm really good. Like, just didn't go our way this year, but I'm not going to change. Next year, we're going to be there again. We're going to be in the mix once more. And at this stage of his career, he doesn't have time to wallow and grieve and be sad. He's got to stay focused. We know he's great. He's not a young driver who we're like, hey, he needs to evolve or change or grow. No, we know what Hamlin is. He's you can't teach an old dog new tricks. This dog happens to be really talented. So he's going to be great the next 2 years, but I think that's it. That's his window is 2 seasons.
He also does strike me as a guy, honestly, and I'm not saying this in a bad way. He is older, but at the same time, he has a very young heart, young mentality. He still keeps himself in great shape. He could go longer than we think too.
Well, I'll say 2 things. One, I do think that this year had a different feeling about it. Like, it is clear at this point, time is running out. And maybe not in the sense of like, it's now or never. But we've seen drivers before who have been great into their 40s or great later into their career. And you're thinking, man, like that cliff isn't coming yet. Like we're down immediately. I mean, ask somebody this time in 2015, hey, is Dale Jr. going to be going into the last race of his competitive career this weekend? They'd say no. Ask people the same thing about Tony Stewart after, I'd say, 2013, or in the middle of 2013, I should say. So you never know as a driver, but I want to kind of fight against a narrative with Denny Hamlin here. There is a huge narrative that Denny Hamlin is one of the biggest chokers in NASCAR history. I'm sorry. I think that Denny Hamlin on his own has only choked one championship away. 2010. Because you look at his other ones and it's like the team screwed up or he got caught up in an accident and it's something out of his control. I mean, he is, if you think about it, between 2019 with having too much tape on the grill and having issues in the pits, and last year with the amount of points lost, he has lost a chance at 2 championships because of a piece of tape. 2. How many drivers can say that about one piece of tape, let alone 2? So I do want to fight against that narrative that I do not think Denny Hamlin is somebody who's going to choke every year. I just think that either the universe has said you are not going to win one, or it's just bad luck for a lot of them.
You mentioned 2019. I want to back up your argument. 2019, I remember this plain as day. That was when Phoenix was the semifinal race. He went into that needing to win to advance to the championship 4. And he did. I think it was a late race restart too. He went and got it. So Denny Hamlin does have his own walk-off win to his credit in recent memory.
Yeah, no, he certainly shows up from time to time. It's just, hey, it's a team sport at the end of the day. Drivers got to show up. And he usually shows up. But then, hey, something is always wrong with his team every time, But I will say this, though. I'll be honest, I still think he can win a championship. But like you said, Eric, that window is certainly closing. But honestly, if he doesn't, I don't know. I'm still going to view him the same way. He's like one of the greatest drivers. I think you can make a case right now, top 20, in my opinion.
You're not going to question his intelligence?
His intelligence? What do you mean his intelligence?
Oh, you didn't see? I don't know. Eddie Gossage tweet.
Oh my gosh, that's right. Hey, I was like one of the first to see that, and I was like, yeah, you're gonna get ratios out here.
Yeah.
I can't remember who it was, but it was somebody either a driver or media. Someone's like, we're going to hear intelligence advice from the guy that ruined Texas.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Like,
but basically to end my point, look, he's one of the top 20 greatest drivers in my opinion. Didn't we have him in the top 20 for our list? Okay. So perfect spot. And if he doesn't win a championship, look, I'm going to view him the same as one of the greatest. And, basically similar to a Mark Martin, basically.
Well, going from one great to another from 11 to 10, it was probably Eric Almirola's last shot at victory.
Yeah.
Hey, I love the bold strategy. I mean, they got second still. I mean, that's it worked out. It just didn't work out.
Hey, look, if Almirola goes out like that, look, I know we got one more race, but hey, look, I think it's safe to say he's not going to be in contention to win this weekend. But hey, if he goes out, with the second place finish like that, that's pretty good. I hope we can see him maybe on a part-time basis sometimes. I don't know if he's hinted at that, but that'd be awesome. Okay. All right. That's cool.
Well, then there's also a running trend that happened in this Martinsville race of people taking out Ty Gibbs.
They had enough.
First was Joey Logano, which I don't know. Did you guys hear Denny Hamlin's radio after that happened?
Didn't he say that's a joke or something? No,
he called Logano like a disgrace to humanity or something.
Oh, he said that he is an effing shit person. And said how horrible he is as a person.
I like how you said effing and then you cursed right after that. That was
hey, one will get me suspended, the other gets me fined 25 points. but that was the first one, and I honestly didn't see anything Ty did there that was wrong. I think he went down and blocked like anybody, and Joey was like, "Not today, little man."
Denny Hamlin explained a little on his podcast. I heard that he talked to Ty, and apparently Gibbs and Logano for a few weeks, if not months now, have been going back and forth. We just haven't seen it because they're both, in 15th place. But apparently they have been going back and forth. It looked bad at first. Hamlin on the radio thought, hey, was he trying to wreck me? I saw a few other folks on social media were suggesting, man, was Hamlin trying or Logano trying to maybe get to Hamlin there, help his teammate out? And I'll be honest, I'm biased here, but I've seen Penske do some shady shit in this Martinsville race. Go back to 2015. Keselowski intentionally wrecked Kenseth because he was getting a little too close to Logano's back bumper. I'm convinced he did it on purpose. I think Matt was as well. So we've seen Penske teammates do that in the past, arguably. I think it was fair to question Logano's judgment, but it sounds more than likely he was just that mad at Ty Gibbs, which maybe he was justified.
So this is in the mid pack, so they're having a mid off, basically.
Something
they
like
were
that.
up front at that point. Ty was
I thought this
okay,
week
so-
they were up front. Which is why we finally saw it. Yeah.
well, but then we did see in the middle of the pack Ty Gibbs' next little ring around the spin cycle, where he and Carson Hocevar got together. And then Hocevar went into 1 and 2 and did his damnedest to not race the next week by right hooking Ty Gibbs and turning up into the corner to take him out. And that's where most of the talk about Ty Gibbs has been, is more Carson Hocevar coming in here and like what is, 10th start and taking out a Cup driver.
Damn, so that's not just one, but two mid-off. No, I'm just playing. Now, they have a lot of potential, but now, see, that's going to be funny looking back because I do think they both have bright futures. So, like, if they're ever competing for a title within, 3 or 5 years, we can always look back at that and be like, hey, there were 2 future champions, I guess, developing.
Is this true? So Alessandro says in the chat, Ty Gibbs still finished top 20 despite getting dumped twice.
Let me check.
And didn't he get T-boned at one point as well?
Yeah. That car is indestructible, man.
I may not be correct, assuming Keselowski wrecked Kenseth on purpose. I think he did, but I may not have the facts to back that one up. I think we have plenty of facts to support that Hocevar intentionally dumped Ty Gibbs on Sunday. And I like Carson. I like Ty. I like Carson a lot. He's going to be good next year. I think he's going to have a great career, but man, you got to chill with this dude.
Yeah.
Like every time I think he's moved past it, he's gotten over it. I mean, he tried to right rear someone at Martinsville in April this year. So you can't do this. You can't do it, Carson. I'm sorry. You're going to have to stop. Something's going to have to click and change. You can't take, because he was also a lap down, I think, when he wrecked Ty Gibbs.
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing?
And
what are you doing?
Here's something too I'm noticing. Remember at this point last year, Hocevar was getting so much hate for doing this stupid stuff, right? Well, then fast forward a year later, and now he's like one of the most beloved drivers on, social media, right? Hey, Hocevar, let's not go back into last year's, situation now. You're on a roll now and stuff. Yeah, and also earlier this year.
It was Martinsville.
Yeah, so let's relax. You're on your way to the Cup Series. We don't need, any of this other stuff. The season's almost over. You're competing for a championship next week. Just relax.
Well, I'll tell you what, he does this more because I think I want to say Denny talked about it, Dale Jr. talked about it, a lot of others. The little analogy I got is if you keep that up, you're going to be like one of the people running uphill on Takeshi's Castle and getting run over, because that's what's going to happen to you. You
got to learn the hard way sometimes. That's all I'm saying. Learn the hard way.
It's gonna happen. But kind of moving forward here, I want to mention 2 things. We don't really have to talk about. I just want to mention that. Oh, we can probably talk about one of them. One, sellout crowd. That was awesome. It's awesome to see that place full.
It really was that full. I can tell you that it was full.
Yeah.
It reminded me of the early 2010s. I feel like that's fair to say. I wouldn't say the early 2000s, early 2010s crowd. It's pretty cool.
I noticed. People on the backstretch again, and going into turn 3.
Yeah. There was a little bit back there.
That's I haven't had anyone sitting back there, I want to say, since around 2008 or 7.
Because Jarrett, when we went in 2021, what would you say like the crowd sort of stopped at? Like, what do you think?
Well, it stopped. Like you could tell they made extra stands and seating there because they had to leave the signs up. But I thought that was really cool. See, the other thing though I really want to talk about is RIP to the pace car. If you're buying a new car, it probably shouldn't be a Camaro, even though they won't exist soon.
Dude, that's crazy.
This one just quit early.
Yeah,
that quit right in front of us, and I saw it come up, and I was like, "Wait, why is it up on the wall? Why are they going underneath it?" And then they kind of all stopped. It was like, oh, there they go. It's like, oh, broke pace car. Oh, broke pace car. Yeah, that's what happened. And then for a little bit, I think it was like a like a truck of a jet dryer was the pace car for a minute, and then it was the AMR safety Ford F-150 as the pace truck for a little bit, and then finally they do have another one. They had a second one.
I'm telling you, Fox had it right. They had a graphic and everything for the AMR safety team. They knew it was. They knew the script. They knew it.
But what is it with NASCAR and these pace cars? I know it doesn't happen every year, but like it happens like often enough to where like, oh yeah, I remember this one, that one, you know?
I mean, what was the last one that did? Was it the one that caught fire at Daytona?
Yeah, I think it was like what, 13, 14, something like that.
10 years. It's been a decade.
And then wasn't there another one in like the early 2000s? I don't know. So it's like once in a while. The most famous one was the Talladega one. That was crazy back in the 80s. Or stolen, yeah. There's always something happening with it.
Technical difficulties on that one.
So not for all of them, but I will just say the funny thing about this is a pace car doesn't just sit at the track doing nothing all year long. And I won't say too much, but I know of a certain track where if people need to go do business trips or something like that, they just literally drive the pace car wherever they're going.
Oh, yeah.
And so think about that. One of those pace cars could just be on the road and suddenly something happened.
Well, it kind of leads into what we will talk about is on a bigger scale here, though, because what happened was the tires fall off and the rubber had got up into the car and undone a bunch of the wiring. And that kind of leads us into the next thing that I think we all want to talk about, or maybe we don't want to talk about, this short track package. I want to, from where it is now compared to where it was at the start of the year, I want you to grade it from A to F. Danny, let's start with you after your glowing review of it in person.
I mean, it is boring, but it is not as bad as it used to be. I'll still give it about a C-.
I'm gonna put a poll up for it, so whoever wants to go next, go for it.
I will give it a C+. You know, we did see improvements. There were good battles for the lead at times with Blaney going to the top and stuff. That was cool to see for a while. But yeah, there is some improvement, but it's not a very high bar to clear. So there's still a ton of work to do with it. But I'll be generous and be fair. C+ in my opinion.
I'll go C+ as well. Definitely, I think the best Martinsville race of the past 2 years, but barely. Well, way better than last year's spring race. I was there. That was not a good introduction to Martinsville. But not that much better than the last couple. It was okay. This one was serviceable. That's the thing. I would say this was the first Martinsville race where like, okay, that's an all right race. I think the fans went home satisfied. Now you'd need a barn burner every now and then, but if that's what you get most of the time, people will keep showing up. That's a solid short track race. Shouldn't get complacent though. And I think I heard on on DBC, they said that they are testing a new like transaxle or something at Phoenix next week. So we could potentially see a solution to some of the shifting. But we'll see. I'm not crossing my fingers too hard on that one.
Well, yeah. and I'll say I liked what Goodyear put forward with the tire. I liked that we had real fall off. That's something I don't think we've seen since the Gen 6.
Well, I'll say this, we saw decent fall off. It took like over 100 laps for there to be legit fall off, but we did see rubber build up, which like I guess that added grip to the track in some spots. So as a result, lap times sort of stabilized at a certain point, which still made it tough to pass, but at least there were 2 lanes. Like you mentioned earlier, Jarrett, Ryan Blaney was able to pass guys on the outside. That was good. So there still wasn't maybe quite the fall off we were hoping for, but at least track conditions changed throughout a run. So there were some variables, more than we've seen in the past.
You know what it reminded me of when they picked it all up under caution? It reminded me of a Dover race a little bit. Because if most Dover races, the lane will widen out. It's just a concrete thing, I think, for the most part. You see it even at Bristol, but the lane widens out. Then all the cars pick up all the rubber. You have to lay a bunch of rubber back down on it. So it's kind of like that, but I would give it a C. I would say it's probably like if you're looking at C minus, it definitely is leaning towards a C minus at this point, but it has improved to the point where, like you said, Eric, that spring race last year, that I've been to.
That was F. That was straight F.
And y'all was there. It was cold too.
I've been to, I think, 4 or 5 Martinsville races at this point, and that was far and away the worst Martinsville race. I think I will go on this right now. Like, I'll say it. That was the worst Martinsville race I've ever seen, like bar none. And to go from that to this, it's a good amount of improvement. Now, how are you going to improve it even more next year? Because where it's at now will be unacceptable this time next year.
I also
That's
wonder. I also wonder. It was unseasonably warm this weekend, and I do wonder if that had anything to do with it that could be impacted when we see another cold race here.
That's very possible. It certainly didn't
probably.
hurt. That 2022 race was chilly, which I think made the problems even worse.
It got below 30 in that for that race. I think by the time the checkered flag hit, it was like 27
and
out.
it was in the high 70s, low 80s on Sunday.
It was the hottest day that on, was it October 29th, I think it was when it was run, like the hottest October 29th in Martinsville history.
The crazy thing is I boarded a flight in Charlotte the next day, and when I got on the airplane it was 84 degrees in Charlotte. When I got off the airplane in Nashville, it was 40 degrees cooler. It was 44 degrees when I got up the plane. That's how crazy it was between the weather versus out there versus over here.
Yeah.
Well,
and not even that far, relatively.
So I'm going to be really interested as well, because it's not going to be 81 or 78 or whatever it was every year. I'm going to be really interested in that because it was really like once every 10 years kind of heat, there. But we probably can, honestly, we probably can continue this all night, but we will talk about this more in 2024. Let's talk about what we have in the here and now at this moment. Right now, we have, of course, the final four who are going into Phoenix with a chance of the championship. In the order that they clinched, it is Kyle Larson, Christopher Bell, Ryan Blaney, and William Byron. I guess lead off, Eric, initial thoughts on this final four.
It's the youngest championship four in Cup Series history if you average out all of their ages. So I'm excited. I do think this championship is kind of missing, maybe outside of Larson, it's missing that, like, I don't want to say superstar, but just that, I don't want to be harsh. It's missing
the veteran driver.
Interesting guy. No, the interesting guy. Like I'll be honest, I kind of wanted Hamlin to make it. Because people have strong opinions on Denny Hamlin. Nobody has a strong take on Blaney. Nobody has a strong take on Bell or Byron. Larson kind of, but that part of it, it's like the World Series. Like if you're from Dallas or Phoenix, you love how the World Series is shaping up. But if you're not from either of those areas, Rangers, Diamondbacks. I mean, the ratings for first game were lowest all time.
If you're not even from like Tennessee, we're not even baseball country. You could care less. Honestly.
Yeah, so that's my only gripe. Not gripe, just from a we all get we come on here every week and we like to talk about what's interesting. And this championship four, you have to look beneath the surface first. Beneath the surface, it gets interesting, but surface level, it's missing that polarizing figure that gets people rallied.
Did y'all see old Eddie Soundhead's tweet that got around the community a bit?
Yeah.
Like, okay, don't get me wrong. I get what he was. I get what he was saying, but Blaney does have a personality. But at the same time, I do feel like the people at Penske have kind of like subdued that personality. You don't see it like you used to as much. He doesn't do that. He doesn't do his podcast like he used to. Like you just don't get to see that side of Ryan Blaney anymore.
Yeah, and Christopher Bell does have a personality. If you've seen him talk about the next gen, trust me, he has a personality. I guarantee you. But this is gutless engines, all that, man. And he even said he wishes they would race Xfinity cars during Throwback Weekend for the Cup Series. That's what he said.
Kyle Larson, I'm sure, honestly, has a great personality, but for lack of better words, for obvious reasons, we don't get to see that anymore.
Yeah,
we saw too much of that personality.
Yeah,
I'm laughing at this comment from Snappy452. He says William Byron is the AI you race against on legendary difficulty.
Well, hey, fun fact: I did race against him. I beat him.
Darian beat the hardest AI in the world.
I beat a future Cup champion, bro. But no. But anyways, let me get to this point. Go ahead.
Is this literally saying that Byron is confirmed to be the first ever Android human race car driver?
Gonna be the big hat champion, bro. Oh my gosh, the world.
I don't think we've seen his hat's final form.
Yeah, we're about to see
it's
it
gonna
now.
Look like the monster from Nope.
But before we move on, man, like Eric, you just talked
Whatever.
about like,
Wait,
you know,
what's that the
oh,
one? Wait, hold on. Sorry. Was that
no,
the
you're
one?
good.
Which was the Jordan Peele movie that had like the weird ass monster in it? Was it Nope?
Oh, what?
I haven't seen
I don't,
Nope.
I don't know. I don't know.
I thought Nope
Nope.
was aliens.
I think
I don't know, man.
that might have been it then. I don't know. Anyway, go ahead, Darian. I'm sorry. I am so off track today.
No, nah, it's your birthday, man. It's all good. You could do whatever you want. No, but anyways, not. But you know, Eric, you had just said like, hey, we don't have like the the most interesting drivers, or and we also don't have like that veteran presence. Like I know Larson's been in Cup for 10 years and stuff, but compared to the other veterans, it's like he's a younging still, right? Well, this championship 4 is 6 years in the making. You know why? What ad thing or excuse me, what thing did they run in 2018? Young taking out the old, and it has finally come to fruition after all these years. William Byron was in that. Ryan Blaney was in that. Larson was in that. Christopher Bell, he was still developing, but then he ended up being in Cup the very next year or 2 years, I think. Yeah, 2 years later. But the point is, we finally have found our young superstars. They're finally coming into their own. And like you said, the youngest championship 4 ever. That's just proof, we were waiting for these young guns to take over, and they finally have.
But
it's great to see.
You know what the crazy thing is? We're gonna blink, 5 years will go by, and suddenly they're all in their 30s and they're considered old again.
Yeah. It's funny how that works, right?
I'll say this from a marketability standpoint, this actually might be great timing considering the Netflix series. Think about it. All these new fans who are going to be introduced to NASCAR when that Netflix show comes out, hopefully people watch it.
Being
it's
introduced. They're being introduced.
Exactly. They're not going to see, no disrespect, but they're not going to see Martin Truex Jr. who's about to retire. They're going to see 4 guys who are going to be here for 10 to 15 more years and probably win a lot more races. So that part of it actually could be really good.
I am curious.
That whole thing, they could do honestly a whole episode on Hamlin and his not making another championship. They could honestly make a whole episode on that alone.
The real question is, how are they going to fit Chase Elliott in all this? How are they going to, hey, can we add Chase Elliott here, there?
They'll take
how can they do that?
The Marcus Mariota route of like the one is not going to compete, but we need to see that side of it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Good point.
Yeah. Well, that'll be his role, and that might be actually a good role to look at because Lord knows NBC would not look at anyone who is outside the playoffs unless they're getting spun out by Carson Hocevar. I do think though, looking into this, because I'm looking at it, I think we've had 2 of these 4 on our show before, and I know we've interviewed or at least talked to Christopher Bell a bit. I know at least one of us has. Like, these guys do have that personality. I hate that it's like we basically have to like defend them.
Defend them.
They do have that personality. I'm hoping this is like that first kind of push to show that, because like I love that clip of Blaney and Bubba that's going around right now, of Blaney just all out like hardcore metal screaming. Like I love that kind of stuff.
Oh yeah,
I hope that's in the doc. And to be fair too to all these guys on the track, because I think we've kind of like lost the plot a little on that part. These guys are all insane talents on track. I mean, Kyle Larson and Christopher Bell. Christopher Bell is so underrated with this because he's the one, if you notice, when it's on the dirt, asphalt, wherever, he's one of the only people who can duel and beat Kyle Larson on a regular basis. Like we all have the narrative Kyle Larson is a generational talent. And I think we can agree with that. Bell is a damn good talent too. Ryan Blaney's that underrated talent that he's going to fly under the radar, win 3 races, and be there. And you're like, how the hell did he do that? It's been there all along. And people forget, you know what? I'm guilty of this too. William Byron was basically like crowned as the next sliced bread back in 2016, 17.
Mm-hmm.
So
good point.
I feel like these 4 have the ability, at least on the track, to put up an incredibly fun fight between them, especially like we've seen them all have crazy moments in the last 4 weeks. So I have to admit, I think any of them could win. I will say for me, I think the favorites are Blaney and Larson at the moment from the things we've heard people say, who's locked in early enough, momentum, all of that. But I can't write any of them out at this point. And all 4 of them will be up there.
Yeah.
All things considered, I think it was maybe it was Daniel McFadden posted this. There was a picture in the closing laps at Phoenix. The championship four were all with each other in those closing laps at one point, and then I think they all finished either all in the top 5 or all really close in the top 10.
Byron won. I think Larson finished second or third. Blaney was top. I think Blaney was second. Larson was third. Yeah. Where was Bell? Was he like 8th or something? They were all up there. Yeah.
But I also think you could argue, much is made of the format. The championship 4, I think, got it right in many ways this year. Mm-hmm. These 4 drivers were they earned the 4 most points in these past 9 races. So obviously regular season saved Byron at Martinsville, but playoffs, bringing your A game these final 10 weeks makes a huge difference. Christopher Bell, would you guys believe, has earned more points than anyone the past 9 weeks? Like, that's kind of surprised me.
I can believe it. I believe it. Yeah, I mean, hey, he's been on it, man.
There's a reason this is Christopher Bell's second appearance in the championship 4. He does have the talent. I talked about this last week, though. I just worry he can get there. He got there now 2 times in the Cup Series, once in the Xfinity Series. So far, he hasn't been able to close it out. So I do worry, can he close it out?
And also, to add to that point, Danny, if you look back at Joe Gibbs Racing's history in the championship 4, they've made it, I want to say, every single year. Yeah, and they only have 2 titles to show for it, all won by Kyle Busch. So that doesn't really play in Bell's favor too much. But hey, history is, things are meant to be broken. So maybe he'll break that trend.
Well, looking kind of more into the weekend, though, because we can look more into this when we predict it all up. Yeah, I take it that y'all saw what I sent y'all. But anyway, let's kind of move on, though, from this point. I want to know, one, what, because we'll talk about this at the end of the show, but one, what people thought watching it wise, and 2, also a little bit of interaction from those at home watching. So let's get into how many people watched this race.
Do we have to? Do we have to?
Nobody watched. They didn't care.
2.196 million viewers watched this race, down 13.6% from last year. No, last year was not up by any means because of the Hail Melon. People did not tune in with 2 to go going, I wonder what wall ride is going to happen.
Yeah, that's true. It's not going to happen again.
I swear, you see some of the funniest excuses. This weekend for Martinsville is down 20% since moving to the state in 2020. And the playoffs currently are down 7.6% in the first 9 races year over year. 280,000 were in the key demo, meaning 13% of the total audience were in the key demo this week. We can rehash the conversation we've been having, unless anyone wants. If we have something new to bring to the table, we can do it. But
stop using all this football stuff as an excuse. Like, look, I know we've been going up against football and stuff, but I don't know. I feel like I'm saying that every week. Well, it's just football. I'm like, well, bro, they've been going up against football for most of their history. What are you talking about?
Sorry, Darian. Everyone was tuned in. They had to see what Will Levis had to do this week.
Hey, he got off. I like that. I got Hopkins on my fantasy team. That's a whole nother conversation. But yeah, look, it's a whole look, man. Oh, I'm playing Jarrett this week. That's right. But anyways, yeah, look, proof is in the pudding, man. Playoffs don't really do it. I know there's other factors and stuff, but
there's a lot of factors.
Yeah, I don't know. There's just so many factors to get into with this. It's the same old stuff every week, and it's been the same old stuff the playoffs. Like, now I'm curious, Jarrett. So what would they need for this week to break even in terms of the ratings for the whole season? Or is it down? Is it up? What is the situation?
I don't know for the season. I mean, it's down. It's about the same that Formula One is down right now. So I think it's okay. Now, I mean, IndyCar was up this year, though more races were put on NBC and stuff helps. Like that. So you could just say it's a racing issue. But I know for the playoffs, they would have to have 4.8 million viewers to break even with last year's playoffs.
Ooh.
Last year's finale had 3.2 million viewers.
Yeah. So
I don't think that's going to happen. And we can talk about that probably next week when we have all the data in for the year. But I mean, it's been the same conversation now for 9 weeks.
We can't add anything new. I was trying to, but I just kept saying the same stuff.
But you know who can add new things in about the race itself?
Oh, yes, that's right. It's time for the poll, the famous Iceberg poll on the NASCAR Weekly Podcast. Jarrett, what are the results?
Looking at it here, 26% said this is a great race, 55 said good, so 71% net positive to a 13% average, 3 and 3 apiece for below average and bad, so 6% net negative. Guys, our first comment. Who do we have? I wrote it down that night just so I wouldn't forget. Oh, it's from Spencer.
Oh,
Spencer.
me.
And fun fact, I already saw Spencer said earlier, it's not even the race hasn't even happened. He's already got his thing ready for next week, so I'm sure he's gonna be first again.
Oh, damn.
I'm gonna go meme as well.
He says, well, this is it. The final weekend of the 2023 season is this weekend. Let's hope. God, I can't read my own handwriting. Oh, let's hope for a good end to this 75th anniversary season with a bang. P.S. For the next gen Martinsville race, that was a pretty fun race to watch.
Never mind, no meme.
Okay,
Spencer's not meming as
not
much
meme
as
at
he
all.
used to.
He's keeping us
He's
on the edge.
he's
Yeah.
growing up.
He's
growing
keeping
up.
us keeping us honest, keeping us even.
Looking at the comments themselves, top comment that pops up is from It's Jake, who says, whatever the combo of scenario and engineering was today, it made for a pretty awesome race. Good to see a race like that on a short track in the next gen. So, pretty positive comment on that one. And looking towards the next one, I think this was the top voted one from Twister1296 saying, this was easily, and I mean in all caps, easily the best next gen short track race. Would you all agree?
Yes.
Yeah, maybe.
I can't think
Wow.
of another one. I mean, what other
I
one
guess
is
I guess we have to think of strictly short tracks. There's a couple. I mean, I kind of like some of the Richmond races. That's just me. I like
Strategy.
Bristol this last time, even though it wasn't perfect. I still kind of
I
like
mean,
Bristol.
I even kind of like Bristol night race last year for the chaoticness of it.
Okay, so I guess I'm the only yes.
I might give this one the edge only
Yes.
because of the playoff and points implications that were very much in play the whole time. That added to the drama.
I thought it was the best of them. No, I won't say that means it was a barn burner by any means, but
It's a classic.
I mean,
no.
it's about as much of a classic as like what the 2009 fall race. I don't know if anyone remembers that off the top of your head.
No.
So that was actually a pretty good race. I watched that a couple weeks back. Let's see. Next one up. I'm going to go a little further down on this one. NAS Casual says, best short track race in Gen 7 history. And Lego says, Todd Gilliland with a quiet top 10 finish. That's right.
Oh,
He
yeah.
hung around a lot of Fords up near the front. A lot of
Wow.
SHR Fords had a good day, or at least ran well. So no, yeah, good for
Yeah.
Briscoe or good for Gilliland.
Yeah, he keeps getting better and better, man.
Mason Marble Run says, let's go Blaney. He caught fire in the last 4 races.
He really has.
So we
True.
got a lot of happy Blaney fans in here.
I bet.
Including, well, I don't know about fan, but Ice Car brings up, remember Dale Jr. picked Blaney to win the championship, and he was the fastest car at Phoenix last year. Conspiracy.
That's right.
Joking, but Ryan is the favorite now.
That's right. Wow.
Yeah, I didn't realize this until recently. But people brought up the fact that it seemed like Blaney was being told not to pass Logano last year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Let's see. F YouTube handles says death, taxes, and Denny Hamlin finding every possible way to lose the championship. For Denny.
Yeah, add it to the list.
Yeah. Long
Another
list.
one here from T Dotson says, so is it still Denny's year?
No, it'll
Oh
be
my
his year next year.
God, there's so many here about Denny.
I beat some of your favorite drivers, some of them.
Some of them.
Just
Good.
doesn't roll off the tongue as well.
I beat all but 4 of your favorite drivers.
Hey, at least this weekend he has a shot to win the hypothetical Winston Cup championship. Ah, there you go. Wait, does he? He doesn't?
He's no, probably not. Mathematically, but probably not.
Okay. He can't catch a break.
Now we get to the gutter comments here. The first one is from Hendrick Racing 4870. Horrible. Xfinity was 10 times better. Not gonna say I disagree.
Yeah.
When they weren't wrecking. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about that in a minute. Racing Ariel says, surprisingly good for Martinsville with this car, all things considered. Blaney is so good at Phoenix, I think he just made himself the favorite. Denny delivers another fat L.
Yeah, it happens.
And Mike Stevens simply put 2 words that will always get you the lowest voted comment by NASCAR fans, saying F1 better.
Master troll. He knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
There's no. I don't know even my biggest F1 fan friend that can say it's been better this year.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
That's the poll. That's Cup
Yes.
at Martinsville.
And this was the poll, the famous Iceberg poll on the NASCAR Weekly Podcast. And now back to the show.
Now, real quick before we jump into the super chats, I do want to let's just get into the Xfinity race.
Yes.
So I want to save the spicy part for last. So let's talk about really quick Allgaier in the final 4, because Allgaier would win his way in, and this is part of the conversation. Is this finally Justin Allgaier's year to break through? Is he gonna get? Is he becoming a favorite at this point?
He's becoming like Denny Hamlin of the Xfinity Series, isn't he?
Yeah, he really is. And you know, Phoenix, he's really good there too. I've seen him, he's ran pretty good there. He's won there in the past. So I don't know. I would like to say he has all the momentum coming in there, but hey, we've seen this before, man. So.
Can anyone not driving a 9 car for JRM win a championship though? That's a bigger question.
Oh, that's right. Point. That's on the line. Thank you, Danny, for reminding me. I forgot about that. That's a good one.
Well, kind of bringing that point up, there are 2 JRM cars in there with Sam Mayer in the 1 and Justin Allgaier in the 7, and then a JGR Toyota with John Hunter Nemechek in that car, and Cole Custer in the 00 for Stewart Haas Racing Ford.
Yeah, good for Custer. I mean, this was a really important year. The start of the year, we were like, hey, like you were just coming from Cup. What's going on here? You're supposed to be running way better. And he was able to pick it back up during the summer months and hasn't looked back. So it was great to see him make that championship for.
At this point, I just want to ask you all this. Is there a scenario where Cole Custer goes back to Cup, or do we think he's just an Xfinity lifer at this point now?
I'd say, yeah, I'd say one more attempt, and if it doesn't work out, then yeah, he'll be in Xfinity forever.
We'll see. Stewart Haas is pretty young now, so he might have to wait a bit or wait for somebody to fail.
I hope he fails.
I mean, it is still Cup Stewart Haas Racing, so that is very likely.
I mean, they had at least 2 rides open up in Cup next year, and as far as I know, he's not favored over a guy who was suspended this year.
And look, and let's be honest here, with the way, their Cup and Xfinity programs are running, do you really want to move up Custer? If he gets off, like, I don't think so. I think I'll just keep running competitively. No, but yeah, hey, good for him. Good for him.
Yeah, so there is the final 4 to look forward with that. And really quick, talking about the racing itself from Martinsville, this race was a damn wreck fest.
Yeah, it started. How many cautions? Like 15, 16, something like that.
It was a lot.
16.
I remember looking at the app and just saw nothing but yellows littered in there.
Yeah, and the worst of them all was that long red flag. That was crazy.
Yeah, so somebody drove around the track with oil coming out of their car, and then
I forget who it was.
But then I think they had to move the field. They said so they could get the stuff that was in 1 and 2. They were stuck all over. The racing itself, when they were actually racing, was really good. Problem is they didn't get enough of that in.
No, that's annoying.
But
it was an ugly race.
It was annoying.
I didn't particularly enjoy it. The finish was great, but before that, it was tedious.
Mm-hmm.
Peter Estrada said it was Jeffrey Earnhardt.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay. Yeah, and yeah, it's just, and that's why I don't get when people are like, yeah, like wrecks and like, look, obviously wrecks are a part of racing, but there's got to be a balance, man, to make it a good race, and that was just too much. Like, how many laps was it? 250, right?
I was scheduled to be.
So it's good one. Good one.
That's the key word. That's the key word right there.
Good one. But yeah, 16 cautions for that many laps. Come on, man, that's ridiculous.
But You beat around the bush enough. Let's talk about the RCR Civil War. Man, so kind of leading up to this, Sheldon Creed had to win his way in. Austin Hill, I think he could have pointed his way in, would have helped a lot better to get a win. And they have that final restart where all hell breaks loose. You know, they get into each other, racing each other hard, beating and banging, trying to move each other out of the way. And kind of that lightning rod moment in there is in the middle of 3 and 4, coming to the white flag. Creed is up in the top lane right ahead of Hill. He is slid up there. His car slows down, knocks the radiator out of the 21. He loses in a drag race by, I believe, like 0.07 of a second or something to Justin Allgaier. Both RCR cars are out. And let me know what you think from that point forward, because at this point, there's a lot to go through.
I'm going to get my thoughts more together if anyone else wants to go first.
I mean, as far as on the track, I don't think Sheldon Creed did anything wrong, and I'm really not sure Austin Hill did anything all that wrong either. They're both at that point, as far as they know, winner goes to Phoenix, loser doesn't. I know if Austin Hill finishes second, you'd have to look closely at where Cole Custer finished. It would have been borderline for sure. He might have made it on points if he finished second, possible. But that's not what they're thinking in that moment. They're thinking go for the win. Hill started it by dooring Creed on the initial start or the initial restart. Creed gave him a couple bumps in the back. I think fair bump and runs with considering all that's on the line. Hill once again escalated it though with that little door slam heading into turn 3 on the last lap. Creed misses the corner. He tries to make the corner. To do so, you got to slow down in the center. I think, I don't remember where I heard it, but someone said on the SMT, you could see Hill actually throttled up sooner than usual. Like he was trying to knock Creed out of the way, ended up knocking his own radiator out. So I just look at it as two guys going hard for the win, and neither of them got it. It was this close. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, we wouldn't be talking about this. They beat bang. Hill would have been mad, but if Creed wins the race by this much, this blow up probably doesn't happen. But they beat, they banged, they used each other up and lost it by this much. The fact that neither of them are in Phoenix, that's why RCR and everyone is so upset. But on track, I don't think either driver did anything in particular wrong. It's the reactions afterwards that make RCR look so bad. Creed handled it all with great class and restraint. Austin Hill did not. Well, Andy Petrie sure as hell did not.
Oh, I'll get on
Richard Childress absolutely did not.
Yeah,
it's a bad look for the whole organization.
If I can just start with Austin Hill, I did not appreciate how he took it upon himself to tell everyone that supposedly he's going to Joe Gibbs Racing. You know, I did not think that was his place as
that's not professional
teammate to say that.
Not professional.
I didn't appreciate that. Andy Petrie, I do kind of wish we were in a scenario where Creed had somehow still won that, because I would have liked to see how would Andy Petrie feel if Creed had won, but I'm just going to say their golden boy, the guy they got for next year, did not make it.
Really quick, I do want to say before we go any further into it, I found it funny that the ex-RCR driver, Robbie Gordon, went viral on Twitter in the NASCAR side of things, doing a film breakdown of everything both of them did wrong and how
that was unexpected, but
that was cool. Yeah. Does he have a channel? Does he have a YouTube channel? He should do that.
I think it was well, I don't even know if it was him who posted it, but someone else posted on his behalf or something. I don't know.
Robbie Gordon, if you're listening, get on YouTube, because I guarantee you a lot of us will watch that.
I don't know if it was who the quarterback is. I'll look it up, but it's like their channel's The Film Room.
Oh, JT O'Sullivan. Yeah, JT O'Sullivan.
And he taught and he breaks down that kind of stuff. I would love a YouTube channel where Robbie Gordon breaks down that kind of stuff, because he's been out of it so long he doesn't even have to care about whose feelings he hurts.
There's actually some of that for anything. There's a former wrestler who does it. He'll break down botches and explain what happened, what went wrong, and that would be great for a former NASCAR driver to break down what went wrong like that.
I did see John Boy do a breakdown of the Talladega finish a few weeks ago, and it was not good. He kept calling him, number 12, number 24. And it was like, why'd you do this? Stick to baseball, my boy. It's not working.
But anyway,
so I think let's start with everything. We'll go individuals on this. Let's start with Hill. So if I'm not mistaken, before that interview, Hill goes past the 2 crew who has nothing to do with it.
And he's like, great job.
Yeah,
Like, what they...
and listen, I can understand him being upset in the moment. I said that after the race itself. But the part that caught my ear even more than the Joe Gibbs thing was basically saying he can't wait for Creed to be gone and Jesse Love will help me better as a teammate.
Still making it about himself.
It's so tacky, in my opinion. Like, it's just so tacky to say that. Like,
and also too, what does that say? Like, okay, so like, you mean, okay, he's gonna help you more and stuff. Like, I don't know. I feel like, I mean,
is Jesse Love not coming to win too?
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. So I'm like, what do you mean by that? I mean, I could be looking too deep into this, but I mean, Hill's had a pretty good year this year and too. I mean, like, you know, with Creed's help. So it's like, what, do you think he's on a lower level compared to Creed? So I don't know. It's just, either way, just saying that, it's just, it's unprofessional, man. And I know, very unprofessional there, but yeah.
The culture is actually damn good.
And you know what? And you know what? You could also make the argument, it's not Hill's fault, it's his team's fault for enabling this type of stuff to happen. Because if he's able to say this type of stuff publicly, I don't want to imagine what goes on behind closed doors. I mean, like, we can get into some of the history, man. I mean, like, this whole RCR toxicity stuff, it's nothing new when you look at the history.
If you look back in time, because I started actually looking into this, there were accusations of this stuff late 90s, early 2000s of Skinner to Childress and Earnhardt. There's been stuff about this when Harvick was the odd man out on the way out, Tyler Reddick. This is known behavior of RCR and Richard Childress. But if we're talking about that behind the scenes and those people, let's go to Andy Petrie, because let's just keep going up the ladder of stupidity on this. And Eric, I think you were about to lead us off there with that. What do you guys say about Andy Petrie?
It's just, and somebody said, I saw a tweet right before we went live that I think he sort of apologized on Race Hub tonight. I'll have to go and find the clip later. But it's just not a good look. I guess he's the director of competition, or the VP of competition over there. Like, to just walk up, immediately confront your driver, animated, drop an F-bomb, and walk away. It's just, I think about Joe Gibbs Racing last year when Ty Gibbs wrecked Brandon Jones, and I think it was way worse than anything Creed or Hill did. Joe Gibbs Racing handled that about as well as they possibly could. And that's because they are a professional sports organization led by a professional football coach, a Hall of Famer. Richard Childress Racing just feels like, a family-owned, shop that kind of plays by their own rules. If you don't play by their rules, they're quick to kick you out, my way or the highway. It's very old school in that respect. And a lot of people respect Richard Childress for that or gravitate towards that mentality. But it's moments like these where you realize how much of like a fish out of water they appear in the modern sports and media landscape. Their PR statements are never refined or well thought out. They're very blunt and honest to a fault. They're bitter when team members or drivers leave their organization. Like, they hold a grudge. It just, again, it doesn't feel like it feels like what you'd expect from a minor league team, not a major league team, I guess. But some people will like that. Some people will like that.
Childress writes his own press releases.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I mean, if you recall last year, Childress, when Reddick, announces that he's going to 2311, supposed to be next year, he signs Kyle Busch, and he's asked about Tyler Reddick's situation. And even then, Childress was like, I'll find a way. He's going to drive for me. He was, ultimately he didn't. But at the time, he was fully ready to go spend a lot of money just to make this guy continue to drive for him because he could.
Well, didn't he say something about that also after Reddick won at Indy? There was a comment last year from him.
Yes. Yeah.
It's just it's that, I don't know how to best explain it, but it is very much feels like the times have completely passed him by. And
I don't mean to interrupt you. I'm sorry. Cadillac John, I think, makes a great point here. Maybe they're quoting somebody, but they said Richard Childress kind of has the mentality of Junior Johnson, old school respect when people come in and downright vengeful when people go out.
That's a good comparison.
I mean, it's kind of the vibe I get. I don't know about the Junior Johnson comparison exactly, but that is sort of the mentality I think Richard Childress Racing seems to foster. I didn't mean to interrupt. I thought that was interesting.
No, that's perfectly fine. Junior Johnson, historically was like that. When Alan Kulwicki would not race for him and wanted to keep doing his own thing, he went out and stole a sponsor from him because he had a lineup and he stole that sponsor from him.
And what did Alan
right. I do
Kulwicki
remember that
do?
story.
Got him back, got the
Won a
92
championship.
title. Ha got the last laugh.
which
But yeah.
Junior Johnson would then fire, was it Tim Brewer, I think?
Yes.
Tim Brewer on the spot before the race ended at Atlanta. So,
Bro, that's crazy.
But that's the point, is that's something that could have worked 30, 40, 50 years ago. That stuff could. This isn't going to work now. What this to me is, this is a volcanic version of Roush at this point. And it's Kyle Busch. Generational gets thrown around too much, but a very rare talent that is propping them up, and even he can't in the second half of this year. There's already rumors and rumblings of like, oh, he's not happy, this or that. But of course, he's not winning. If Kyle Busch isn't winning, he's not happy.
He's never happy. Yeah.
But it feels like at this point, why he's putting out at this point is what it feels like. Why would you want to go there? Why would you, if you're a driver and you're not somebody who's a Kyle Busch, Kevin Harvick level talent, why would you want to go there knowing that the first moment you find a better place, he's going to make your life a living hell behind the scenes? And how many people has that happened to before?
Oh, yeah. No, and there probably we don't even know of right now. But yeah, no, I was just about to bring that up because, if we look at sports as a whole too, it's like there are certain dynasties and certain teams that, maybe won like, 1 or 2 titles and stuff. And, their downfall is usually, themselves, like I think a great example is the dynasty Chicago Bulls. After Jerry Krause ran Michael Jordan out of there, never won again, never even came close. So I think, look, RCR, they've been getting away with this stuff for a while, but this was so public. And now it's like even people who don't know what's going on behind the scenes are kind of like, well, hey, sort of questioning what's going on here. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I'd say adapt fast, or, you're going to be in a similar situation that Roush was in. But thankfully, Roush came to his senses and, got with the times. And now look, so it's not totally over for RCR. They might win some races, but hey, fix it.
I think we failed to say that he called him the stupidest Creed. He called Creed the stupidest driver he has ever had race for him.
Why would you want to go there? Why would I want to go there? I wouldn't go there.
If anyone saw a little bit of Door Bumper Clear, they got onto a big tangent on that subject.
Dude, that's just so. I know we heard a lot of disrespectful things in NASCAR, especially racing and jump. Yeah. Like I know we heard a lot of. Yeah, I that's a good one. You even caught me off guard with that.
No. Did you see what Brett Griffin had to delete on Twitter? What he put?
No, what he put?
He put live look at John West Townley right now, and I was like, no.
Oh my god! I think Moon had even tweeted that. That was funny, but yeah, hey, you caught me off guard with that. But no, it's like, dude, like I know there's been a ton of disrespectful stuff said in racing and stuff, but like to publicly say that, yeah, your driver's the dumbest driver who's ever raced for me, like. What does that say about you then?
Yeah,
like you hired him.
That's exactly right. And what's that say about you? You decided to hire this guy.
So hold on, you mean to tell me you had the dumbest driver racing you for what, 2 years? Come on, bro. So that says everything about you. You insulted yourself, but we know it's not true, man. Like Creed has a ton of potential. I think he's one of these late bloomers in the Xfinity series. We've seen it time and time again where guys take forever to win, and then once they win, they never stop. I think Creed's on that trajectory. And if the whole rumors are true with Joe Gibbs Racing, that'll be very interesting. Very interesting.
It's gonna be spicy. They'll both be in the championship 4 next year, Creed and Hill, and that'll be dicey.
That'll be great. And isn't Chandler Smith coming back? Correct? Right?
Most likely, I guess.
Yeah. Very interesting.
Real quick, Mark in the chat says, apparently, Eric, you got a shout out from Jeff on Door Bumper Clear.
Oh,
that's what I was going to say.
I did, yeah, which is kind of fun. I appreciate that from Jeff Gluck. He was talking about the rise of video and YouTube and other platforms similar in NASCAR media. I appreciate the shout out. I heard listening to the Teardown a couple weeks ago, Jared. You got a shout out in the live chat as well.
That was pretty cool.
Yeah, Jeff's awesome. Obviously, one of the greatest writers and media personalities in the garage, and we appreciate his support.
I chatted with Jeff a little bit at the tweet up on Sunday. Always good to see him.
Yeah. It's always cool.
I can't get over the fact that Jeff brought it up on Door Bumper Queer that Brett Griffin live look at John was telling me, I'm like,
Yeah.
you really want the live look right now?
Yeah, it's
I did-
decomposing.
I did want to mention.
Hey, we did to say.
I mean,
I did.
yeah.
I want to mention a comment from Dirty Death earlier. They said, "What about?" Oh God, it just. What about Creed's alleged comments at RCR Fan Day? And yes, I did hear at Fan Day a few days earlier. I think somebody asked him a question about like, oh, what about next year? And Creed made said something along the lines of, oh yeah, that's going to be my best opportunity yet. And he said that at RCR Fan Day.
He said it in front of everyone.
So give a lot of shit to Petrie and RC for their, you can't talk publicly about your driver like that. But Creed behind the scenes, man, was ripping him back. Like he was getting like there was definitely strife leading up to that weekend behind the scenes at RCR. No
Netflix,
doubt.
can we have a doc on the Xfinity series, please? I think this would be a better one.
Yeah. Also, one final thing too.
I'm just scared if they ever try to do something on the Xfinity series, they wouldn't treat it as like its own racing series. It would be like these guys are trying to make it into the big leagues. Yeah. Which one has what it takes?
Yeah, they sort of do that with like in Drive to Survive with like Formula 2. You only see it for like a couple of seconds basically. But one final thing about the race before we switch topics and go to the super chat stage break. Did anybody see that hit Jeb Burton had? I mean, Danny, I know you heard that, Danny, because I heard it on the broadcast.
Well, I wasn't at the Saturday race. We were doing other things.
Okay.
But no, I did see the video, and yeah, it was very obvious that was not a good hit.
Yeah, that's basically what you do coming to the line in like NASCAR heat or iRacing. You just full throttle it and just send it into the wall. But funny enough, he actually quote tweeted my video and he said one word. Committed. So he was full throttle all the way to the wall. He didn't care because I think he still got a top 10 with that, I believe. So
N3RK says that thing sounded like a kick drum. That is very accurate,
dude. Because when they were coming to the line, like so, the camera cut away to the celebrations on pit lane, and as it cut away, he was about to hit, and then all I heard was boom. I'm like, oh shit! Like he crunched that thing. But yeah,
Martinsville for what it is, like it's a track where it's often one of the more slower short tracks because of how slow you got to go for the turns. But man, when you hit hard there, it's obvious. Like you think of that, you think of when Kane's brakes broke or the throttle got stuck and he went into Truex that year.
2011.
I mean, there's been some big crashes there over the years.
There have, and there's probably a lot more to come. But I think that about covers the weekend. It was 2 races, but it was worthy of going over basically the runtime of last week's episode to talk about.
Way more eventful, that's for sure.
But now let's get to the first super chat stage break. Y'all got a timer on me? There's a lot here, so
yeah, we're good.
We'll get to them now. Just let me know when I'm ready or when you're ready, and I can
start
rolling.
Yeah, let me know when you're ready.
All right, I'm good to go now. Nas Carson left 3 super chats of $5 each, so thank you for that. For the first one, he put, Jarrett, happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Jarrett. Happy birthday to you. And then thanks for all you and the NWP guys do for the fans. Well, I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Hopefully I do not get sued for that melody because apparently it's copyrighted.
You sang it too well.
Yeah.
You're done.
It's done.
Voice.
It's over.
Yeah. If Evanescence needs a male opera singer, I will be it. The next one is from him as well. Hey, NWP guys, Eric Homestead 2023 or Phoenix 2022. What track, not racing, do you like more? From bird's eye view, he likes Phoenix because of the mountain.
Oh, like just visually? Yeah. Oh, Phoenix is definitely a more picturesque track these days. But Miami holds up better than I think people give it credit for. It's not bad either.
And then one last one from him. Fall Martinsville, hands down, was the best short track race of the season. Championship finale is going to be cool with 1 champion and 3 non-champs. Yeah,
that's how that works. Yes, exciting.
Hopefully we get 4 champions, 4-way tie.
Yeah, I just hope they all have fun.
Yeah.
It's all about the friends we made along the way.
Isaac leaves the next 2, 1 for 2 and 1 for 5. Says, worst season collapse. MTJ 23. I'll make this a poll when we go to the lightning round. Harvick in 2020 or KFB 2008. I think it's between Busch
Ooh,
and
that
Truex.
08 one.
Yeah, that was
Yeah,
damn.
because the 2020 it was really just like
was 2
Martinsville. I
races.
remember Harvick. Yeah, he
Yeah.
wrecked at Texas, and then Martinsville. He had a big lead and just sucked that race.
But Kyle Busch, 08, man, he oof.
He was something else that year.
Then Isaac leaves another one. Here's 5 for your birthday. Hope it's a great one. It has been a great one. Thank you. Also, you share your birthday with the Day of the Dead and Jeff Gordon's final win. How cool is that? It's pretty cool. And on top of all of that, I was at that race. Jimmy Leos with 100 saying, "Hi, Jarrett.
Ooh.
Happy 26 years old birthday." I appreciate it. I appreciate that a lot.
Very generous.
Dang. Thank you.
Hell of a birthday present. There you go.
Yeah.
And Timmy Wolf, thank you for the 6-month member chat saying happy birthday as well. Irvin Alvarado, thank you for the 10. Tune in to every weekday morning on NWP Plus for a new soap opera hit TV show from the makers that brought to you Days of Our Steelers. Comes a new daytime drama, All My Childress, an RCR story coming soon. Streaming. Then 2 more member chats. 28 months for Spencer, who says, "Man, what a season this has been. One more time." And Hot Piss, 2 years a member, saying, "Let's go, Blaney, proving the doubters wrong." I'm pretty sure he's thinking Kyle Petty.
I feel like we haven't seen our buddy Hot Piss in a minute. It's been a little bit.
Been a minute. Yeah, what's
We're
up?
seeing the resurgence of Hot Piss.
We're warming up.
someone want to get
we had
R.
3.
Kelly? Or...
I think we're at
That was
We're at 3. You can do another 1 or 2 if you want. Up to you.
Yeah. Move on before R. Kelly comes out the woodworks. All right, let's
I
go.
don't want to get pissed on him. I got the hell out the way. Hunter Nixon.
Guys, we're not even in after hours yet.
I had my headphone off for a split second. I didn't hear why Darian laughed. Damn it. I missed the joke.
It's a Boondocks meme. All right, go move on, bro. Move on.
Okay.
Hunter Nixon Fishing for 5 says, "Short track package still needs improving, but this is the best Martinsville race, hands down, of the Gen 7 era."
For sure.
And one last one, because it just is topical. From Pat02537 for 5 saying, "Hey, will you guys have any guests soon? Tune in next season." We have a few that we're looking to line up. Like you did when you had Urinating Tree on. We will we'll let you guys know.
It's been a minute since he's been on. Yeah,
it's been a minute since any guest has been on.
For real.
But that is a super
Yeah,
chat.
you think these people just like us or something?
Yeah.
It's a super chat stage break. And now we have another great segment that I'm sure we'll have plenty of laughs with.
Yes, sir. Hey, I only get to do this twice. Wow, it's crazy. Season's gone by. And it's the lightning round on the NASCAR Weekly Podcast. Jarrett, what do we have on tap for this today?
Button. Here's a lightning. This show's off the rails already. First off, shout out to the Spotify crowd. I left a poll there saying what their preferred finale was. The options were Atlanta, Daytona, New Auto Club, Phoenix, or Miami. In 5th with no votes is Phoenix. 4th with 3% of the vote is New Auto Club. 3rd with 6% of the vote is Atlanta. 7% of the vote in 2nd's Daytona, and 84% saying Homestead is what they want as their finale.
RIP Auto Club, bro. They're
Not,
already
not Phoenix. Not Phoenix getting 0 votes.
Damn, man. I thought Eric's points would have helped out.
No wonder I won the hot take segment. Gosh,
he tried his best to save it, but
damn. But he was good with it, Eric. That was like one of the best hot takes I heard, though. I was like, okay,
I appreciate it. I studied Chris Broussard this week for my sports hot takes.
I'll need to go back on the Jim Rome is burning tapes for my.
Oh my god!
Going on to the next little bit here, though. Reminder that the finale is on Eric's channel next week on November 8th, and I believe it January 31st. The last Wednesday of January is when we come back. So reminder on that. A little driver news here. Spam some ghosts in the chat for Bailey Curry, who's going to be returning full-time in the 41 truck next year for Nice, according to J-Ski.
Cool.
And he's run really well. He's one of, I think, the 5 or 6 guys, I think, who's maximized their
He's-
opportunities.
He's only made like 10 starts in that truck, and he's got 3 or 4 top 5 finishes.
I mean, he's realistically competed, I would say, for 2 wins. He just hasn't had the speed there.
Yeah, he's had.
And it's safe to say that truck doesn't get quite the same support that
Mm-mm.
Hocevar's
Yeah.
does.
When we saw Chastain get out of Nice, I was worried about them. Then we saw what they could do with Hocevar. So there's hope for this situation. You know, this is a legitimately good opportunity now.
NASCAR will not repossess the number 51 charter from Rick Ware Racing, and since they are using Yates engines, signed Justin Haley, and have an alliance with RFK, they have shown a clear commitment to improving. According to Bob Pockris, this is what NASCAR put out, and I will just say now, they are noticeably quicker this year than they have ever been.
And Justin Haley's coming at the right time.
They're closer on the stopwatch. Hopefully next year they'll be further up the leaderboard. That's the next step.
JJ Yaley has, without strategy or anything helping him out, run top 25, top 20 in a Rick Ware car. So, an attaboy to JJ Yaley for that as well. The Moose fraternity will return to Trackhouse as a sponsor, not through 2024, but through 2025. And they just announced, I do not have the image of it, but they just announced their paint scheme for next year as well. And then
I didn't see it. Cool.
For you Southeast short track racing fans, Dale Earnhardt Jr. will be running in the 2023 South Carolina 400 at Florence on November 18th. So if you're around there or you have extra vacation time, whatever it might be, check it out. Dale Jr. will be there. So, but that is the lightning round.
And that'll conclude this edition of the famous lightning round of the NASCAR Weekly Podcast. And now back to the show.
One segment here to go through before we get to reviewing the finale. Kind of a silly season, 2024 news, mix of reckless speculation, if you will. There were 2 big things I wanted to talk about. The first one is I actually want to talk about is what got put out today of the 2024 Ford Mustang being announced and shown. First off, Danny, lead us off. Thoughts, observations, anything you got when it comes to this new Ford body that they're bringing out?
It looks cool, but I'm partially worried how this thing is aero. It looks so much different than what they've had. And I remember, when Chevy first brought out the Camaro to the Cup Series, it seemed like they struggled so much because of the way that one was aerodynamically. They made a slight change in 2020, and it seemed to get better results at that point. This thing, I mean, people talk about how big it's flared right at the hood. And I mean, I'm also looking at that. I'm looking at how, I don't know, boxy it feels in the front to me. I'll be curious how this thing does. But I don't know, something about that basically spiked in the front almost. It's so flared.
Yeah.
I just don't know about this. I don't know if it may slow them up. I don't know.
Well, no, it's gonna cut some of the opposition's tires. That's why they put it there. Don't rub the fenders with that. But nah, look, just like Chevy had a few years ago, they struggled a bit with their new car. I feel like Ford will handle this a little bit better, but it'll certainly be a little bit before takes full effect like they want it to. So not saying they're gonna go full Chevy 2018 here, but maybe perhaps a step back towards a brighter future, maybe. So short-term loss, long-term gain, perhaps.
Yeah, I think what's the difference between now and the change in 2018 for Chevy, and even then most of the change was cosmetic or was the body itself. But in this case, that really is the only notable change. It is just the body. It's all aerodynamics. And yeah, I'm with you, Danny. The first thing I noticed was front fenders flared up, angled in such a way that I've never seen on a modern NASCAR car. They wouldn't do that unless they felt it helped them in some way, shape, or form, I imagine. And it was within the tolerances NASCAR allows. It's an interesting look. The car looks noticeably more different than the Camry or the Camaro. We'll see if it works out. But Ford
I
outside of
saw-
Buescher and Blaney, I feel like had a down year this season.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I saw some people have said that Penske, at least for Logano, should bring back the Scallions because that thing's so flared it might actually fit well with that car.
Oh, and also Cito in the chat says when Ford switched to the Mustang in 2019, they didn't struggle. Yeah, so Ford,
good point.
They may they have a track record of adapting. So yeah, maybe 2024 can be an improvement.
Bob also noted that Toyota is looking to have a new body as well, and Chevy at the moment, they're unsure of how they're going to continue with their NASCAR program, but with the Camaro, with the Camaro ceasing production, it's going to be up in the air. So I think we're almost getting kind of like that 2015 to say, what would it be, 2018 makeover of all the different cars. Like when it came to the Gen 6, they had that. Ford's done this before. They had changes right away to the as I see Eric looking at that car.
I was just looking at, the Camaro. I just forgot about how when they first introduced the Camaro, the nose was so pointy, and now it's been flattened and nerfed so badly.
That's the 164. If you look at a 124 scale, you can really see the difference in those cars.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have it over there, and I can see it from here halfway across the room.
I see mine right there. I can see it right there in the middle of the room.
So that's going to be an interesting story, I think, going into next year, especially if they have any testing at Daytona like they did that year, and it's like the first week of January. I'm cool heading down there for a 2-day trip.
Yeah.
If Toyota really wanted, not that they want to, they might want to. If they did a Supra version of the next gen, I don't know if you guys really have seen the Supras up close, but they're basically just entirely round. There's no edges to them. There's nothing. It is just literally round. That thing would be interesting for sure.
So there is that to talk about, the 24 side and all of that, but we also have some silly season mixed with reckless speculation. The first silly season part, the part that has been confirmed, of course, is Eric Almirola's retirement from full-time racing. I don't want to say retirement because he is looking to be in the lower series part-time. If their sponsorship can be there, Smithfield, of course, leaving the 10. But old garage guy Chase, who has had a few different rumors pop up that he's been, the source of, some of them come true. He brought up that at the moment, Noah Gragson could be the favorite for SHR in the 10. So a kind of very blanket statement or question to ask you here. Do you think it's true or untrue? What to you guys is the percentage possibility that Noah Gragson is the one that Gene Haas and Smoke pick up?
I will start first. I remember when we were first talking about this rumor, I was like, why? But now that I've had some time to think about it, I'm going to go, I think I'm 80% sure he'll be in the 10. And one of the counter arguments that I can't remember if it was me or someone else had made was, well, how is he going to fit into the team? Blah, blah, blah. I mean, like, look at the other three drivers, Briscoe, Briscoe, and
Barry.
Barry. Yeah. I almost forgot. Damn it. I was about to say Harvick. But yeah, those three, they came up the hard way. You know what I mean? They didn't have all the money in the world and stuff, as opposed to Gragson, who's had, some help over the years too. And hey, he was still talented enough to make it to the Cup Series and stuff. Now, is he gonna be able to stay? I believe the second opportunity with SHR will definitely help him out to some extent. Needs a full season, get more, accumulated with the next gen car. And also too, gotta remember his boss is Tony Stewart. Tony Stewart was a pretty, wild guy in his Cup Series career. And, Gregson's sort of taken on that role, just obviously not as talented, but maybe that could change over time. So
80% is about what you're saying?
I'm going to say 80 to 90%. Sure. So yeah. And I think there's a lot of reasons why that's going to happen.
To each their own on what they think about Tony Stewart this year. Some say he's, distracted by all the drag racing or something like that, distracted by SRX, whatever. If you look at the drivers that have been hired in recent years by Stewart-Haas Racing, this does actually feel like a Tony Stewart decision in terms of, the final approval of who they want in their car. And if you think about it like this, all their drivers are people who have proven their talents to get up to where they're at. Josh Berry, only a few short years ago was in a late model racing, and now he's taken over, quite frankly, one of their flagship cars. Chase Briscoe, a guy who's come up through the ranks, was a huge Tony Stewart fan, earned his way onto the team, earned his opportunity, got a win already. Ryan Preece, one of the best modified drivers in recent history. Tony Stewart knew there was talent there, wanted to give the guy a chance. He's got that chance. And now Noah Gragson, I feel like Tony, same way. He knows there's talent there. Yeah, he knows that, he did something bad, but he also knows he's ready to make better of that and become a better person from this. And I know deep down, Tony Stewart is still kicking himself for not being able to get Kyle Larson when he was coming back. And I know he doesn't want to miss out on another person that he might see as a big talent.
And really quick, just really quick. And before, I think this whole signing, if it's true, makes the whole Larson situation worse, because it's like he's coming off of a second chance, or he's gonna get a second chance as well. So it's like, oh, we should have signed Larson while we had the chance. But sorry, go ahead.
I don't know that Stuart Haas ever had a legit chance to sign Larson. If Hendrick was really interested, that's a no-brainer. You take Hendrick, you take the Hendrick offer over SHR. I don't know. I still don't see. So I think 95% chance. I think that this rumor has been flying around for a week or two now. The only reason I won't go full 100% is because I think it was Bob Pockris reported that Gragson was working on a deal with Colleague that apparently fell through. And so I just wonder, man, if the Colleague deal fell through, is an SHR deal going to happen? SHR needs sponsorship. They're losing Smithfield, Busch Beer, maybe more. They need sponsorship. If that's a hang up, I worry about that with Gragson a little bit. Maybe that's why it hasn't been announced yet. But he's probably going to go to SHR. I still don't get it from Stuart Haas's perspective. I think Gregson's clearly talented, but in my opinion, where he thrived best was junior motorsports, a very laid back atmosphere with a boss that could make a very human connection with them. He's going to Stuart Haas, where the boss seems kind of disconnected. It's a team on the decline, not on the rise like junior motorsports. And I don't think he fits in with the rest of those drivers. The only thing they all have in common is they're talented and they've won an Xfinity. Other than that, but they couldn't be more different. Barry grew up, scratching and clawing, racing late models from the South. Noah Gregson's Las Vegas, wasn't it? Was it his grandfather who was the mayor of Las Vegas?
Yes, was the mayor of Vegas back.
Can you get any more different? Mayor's grandson, Tennessee not dirt track, asphalt racer. Can you get any more different? You know what I mean? And that doesn't matter that much because Stuart Haas at one point had Clint Boyer, Kurt Busch, and Danica Patrick on the same team. Personalities between drivers don't have to mesh perfectly, but it just, unless he's bringing a ton of funding, and I saw him post that little Bass Pro Shops video today, so maybe Bass Pro is going to step up once again, but unless he's bringing a decent amount of sponsorship, this is honestly kind of a head scratcher to me. He's fairly talented, but even after his 8 or 9 win Xfinity season last year, I think we're all thinking, okay, he might be decent in Cup, but it's going to take time. Remember what he did subbing in the 48 last year? Did nothing in the 48 last year. So I don't know. He's decent, but needs a lot of refinement. And I don't think Stuart Haas is the best place for him to learn and develop. I don't right now. So I don't know. It's a head scratcher to me.
Yeah, I'd say around probably 90%. I actually think that whole deal of Colleague falling through might have been what opened the door for him to go to SHR and have Eric Almirola retire with 2 weeks left of the year. Because we all knew that Smithfield was leaving with them. That's probably the only reason Almirola raced this year, was to keep that team alive one more year. I have a feeling Almirola probably was like, I kind of owe them one. They gave me the highest in my career, the best I could do, 5th in points, all that. When it comes to how he'll perform, though, I question. I mean, in I think 21 starts, his average finish is a 28.2. You want to know who he's closest to? Take a wild guess. Just take a guess.
BJ.
Yep.
Am I wrong?
BJ McLeod was within one position average finish of Noah Gragson at a 29.4.
I was going to guess Ty Dillon, but
when you take stage points out, or you look at the Latford system, just looking at just purely points garnered from where they finished, BJ McLeod scored more.
Oh,
So
God.
at this point, this is, I think, it would be his last chance at Cup. You cannot fail this magnitude. Now, yeah, I get it. Legacy, it's a team that was struggling, especially the first half of the season. That was not helped in any way by Noah Gragson, and especially that was not helped when you look at how Carson Hocevar did in that car. I mean, he literally like that. Yeah, maybe the team got better as the year went on, but that 42 team like did a complete 180 once Hocevar was in it.
It did not look like that when Gregson was racing.
And I get that, you know, SHR is not very good. I still think it's better than a 42 Legacy car. Yeah, I feel like this is make or break for him, and when I just don't like the chances when you look at the team he would be with. That's my biggest worry.
That's the big thing for me is Gregson doesn't make Stewart-Haas better, and Stewart-Haas isn't going to make Gregson better.
Yeah.
Like that at the end of the day, that 10 car will be worse next year than it was this year. And it was not very good this year.
Yeah.
Gregson could still learn and develop. Maybe 5 years from now, he looks solid. He's like a Daniel Suarez or an Alex Bowman, but he's a long way from that. And I just don't think Stewart-Haas in the state they're in now is the best place for a young, unrefined driver to go learn the sport. I just don't think so.
And I hope he does well. But the problem is, you just made all those points and stuff. And, you know, great personality, great for the sport. In some ways, but yeah, it's, you know, Stewart-Haas Racing, they're in a totally different state right now. It is a legacy team, you know, it's like, you know, one of the best teams in NASCAR history, blah, 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 but certainly past its prime right now. And Gregson's joining them at a very interesting time. I'll put it that way.
But that's about all we have, I think, from this week and looking forward. We'll have plenty probably of reckless speculation about 2024 next week. But we got to get to next week. We got to go into the finale weekend, last race weekend of the year. And we got a few notes to look at going into this. First off, both Bubba Wallace and Tyler Reddick are going to be running Star Wars cars. Bubba in the X-Wing car and Tyler Reddick in the TIE Fighter car. I'm going to ask this in a poll just because I can. I'm not the biggest Star Wars fan anymore, per se, but I do love old school Star Wars and
are you team Sith or are you team Rebels?
X-Wing or TIE Fighter?
I just think it's cool they got Mark Hamill in the video. I don't know if Mark Hamill just signs on to do anything these days, but I feel like he's kind of distanced himself from Star Wars recently.
I don't blame him.
I was surprised that Columbia Sportswear, what kind of pockets do they have? I'm surprised they got Mark Hamill to do a video like that. It was pretty cool.
I can just tell you firsthand, Columbia thinks of anywhere they can be. They're big into fishing. They're big into the hiking community now. They're big everywhere these days.
Well, I'll ask you guys before we roll into this last little bit of weekend notes. Just give me your one-word answer: X-Wing or TIE Fighter?
X-Wing.
TIE Fighter.
I'll go the TIE Fighter.
Yeah, thank you. Let's go. I'm sorry, TIE Fighter is so
and we're losing in the chat. Come on.
The Empire loses and it ends
X-Wing.
it ends Return of the Jedi. Nothing
You don't know the power of the TIE Fighter.
Yeah, me in the chat, we're in cahoots.
There's an added layer to this meme, but that you guys will know is an insider joke. Somehow Palpatine returned. But anyway,
somehow, like if Bubba Wallace goes a lap down and then somehow gets back on the lead lap and takes the lead at one point, somehow Bubba returned.
I like this fire suit. It was based on Luke's X-Wing suit. So
that was cool.
Really quick, one final thing. In 2002, when Andretti qualified, they played the Star Wars music while he was qualifying. Can we do that for this weekend, please, for both cars? That'd be cool.
Hey, side note, this is the first Star Wars car since when? Jeff Gordon, Pepsi?
No, the Battlefront 2 cars that Gibbs had for GameStop.
Oh, Eric Jones. Eric Jones. Yeah, that's right.
GameStop got him on a couple times.
And then the other bit of weekend news, I'm going to be honest, I don't want to be a Debbie Downer, but I'm going to be here. I think a kind of underwhelming scheme is the Harvick car.
Nice cold
is going to be his last car.
What else could they do? They did the 29, do
the
wrench
black
throwback.
And silver one.
I guess they did, but they did that one. They did the Budweiser Championship car. Like, what other?
Did they do the black?
You could have done but that wouldn't look right outside of Daytona. They missed that. They missed that boat in August or whenever.
I don't know. I guess it's an homage to the old video games. I guess Ice Cold Blooded.
Open up an ice cold can of Kevin.
You know what they could have
Yeah.
done? They could have done a version of Logano's 2018 championship car and had all these pictures of Harvick with fans, memories,
That's
great
true.
wins, all of it.
Yeah.
I think there's so many better ways than running a 3+ diecast saying Harvick instead of beer.
I will just say this weekend, if Delana isn't wearing a fire suit this weekend, I will be disappointed.
Oh
Would
yeah.
Keelan and his little sister would his kids wear a fire suit too? I mean,
Yeah,
Keelan has
why
one.
not? Why not?
I'm
Go
sure he
ahead.
does. Yeah.
Yeah, why not,
And
man?
they can wear ice cold can of Harvick fire suit.
Yeah.
Yeah, they can be seen with a can of Harvick.
Come
Just
to the mountains of Harvick.
Just put Sunny D in there. You'll be fine.
But going into this weekend here, there's 3 races. One of them has a normal name, and then the others are finales. The first one is the truck race, the Craftsman 150, which will be
Nice.
150 laps. Wow, creative. 45, 45, and 60 are the stages, starting at 10 p.m. Eastern time on FS1. I will let you know now that next year this is actually fixed when it comes to the schedule. But this year is 10 p.m. Eastern time for the finale. Next year will be 8 p.m. Eastern time. So it is fixed next year.
That's crazy.
It'll be 86 with no chance of rain. Defending winner of this, Zane Smith.
Be sure to take your mid-afternoon nap so you can watch this one.
For real.
Yeah. The Xfinity race will be the NASCAR Xfinity Series season finale. That's just the name on record.
Where's the number?
It's in the number of laps, which is 200. 45, 45, 110 is the stage lengths. 7 o'clock Eastern time on USA and MRN. By the way, FS1 and MRN are for the truck race, if I did not say so before. It'll be 88, partly cloudy with a 3% chance of rain. Ty Gibbs is the defending winner of this race. And then Sunday, to end it all off, the NASCAR Cup Series season finale. 312 laps, 60, 125, and 127 are the stage lengths. 3 p.m. Eastern time on Big NBC and MRN, the voice of NASCAR. Sunday will be 89 and sunny with a 1% chance of rain. And Joey Logano is the defending champion and winner of this race.
1% chance of rain. There's a cloud floating in the sky. So you're telling me there's a chance?
It's ruin this championship.
NASCAR
Those fans just asking for shade, man.
Yeah, it's looking for trouble.
NASCAR will be in town, but before we can get even to the picks themselves, Darian, why don't you let us know who's going to be the ones we should watch out for this weekend?
Damn, so last betting odds of the season. Next week we'll go over the final fantasy standings, but man, this hits differently. Anyways, the betting odds for the championship finale, Kyle Larson is the odds-on favorite at plus 165, followed by Ryan Blaney at plus 275, William Byron plus 320, and Christopher Bell plus 450. Very interesting numbers Vegas decided to pick. And then Harvick is the final of the favorites at plus 1,500. Then best of the rest, Tyler Reddick and Denny Hamlin, both 2,200 apiece. Joey Logano, 2,500, Martin Truex Jr., 2,800, and Chase Briscoe, 5,000. As for the underdogs, Kyle Busch and Chase Elliott are both 5,500. So if you're into conspiracy theories, hey, they're not going to let Chase Elliott go winless, right? So put some money on him. Brad Keselowski plus 6,000. And finally, to round out the final underdog segment of the season, Ross Chastain and Chris Buescher are both plus 7,000. As for the NWP fantasy points, early congrats to Sean48NY because it's not totally over, but it's not looking good for Trevor Sports 98. So I'm just going to give you an early congrats on the championship. Trevor's in second. Tied for third is Polish Victory Lap and myself. And rounding out the top 5 is the NASCAR Bear. Now, how am I faring in our second league, though? I'm glad we have 2 leagues. Gives us more of a chance. Oh, it's very close. A 10-point gap between Vroom HMS and Race Roar 48. And I am just 17 points back. Oh, it's going to be good.
Aaron, if you don't sweep in there and steal that one.
Hey, for real. And then in fourth is, for the first time this year, name I've never seen before, SYXX. That's the whole name. So P4, and rounding out the top 5 is Common Chase L. Yep. So, all right.
And that leaves another point standings here. The pick points, which we have officially now both the closest season ever among all 5 of us and the closest championship battle with the most championship contenders ever with 3 this year. So me and Danny are eliminated. Still, though, we can fight for those last 2 spots, so a lot up at stake there. But the chat is leading with 570.
Put him up, Jarrett.
the chat's leading with 575. Eric is only 4 points out. It's basically a toss-up at this point. And Darian is the long shot plus 26 or minus 26 back. The most you can make up in a single weekend with 3 races is 35 points. 25 of those I guess 24 if you don't have a sweep. So Darian's going to have to sweep the weekend and have some stuff happen, but he is that outsider. He's kind of like a 04 Dale Jr. on this one. But Eric in the chat, they're like 2011 Edwards and Stewart here. The chat gave up some crucial points this week. And we're going to have a bit of a different fold when it comes to picking this
Oh,
week.
yeah. Get ready, chat.
You know what, chat? You talked about this earlier this year. We're going to test it out with this just to make sure there is no cheating. Eric is going to write down his pick early on each time somebody comes up and then have it not like shown on screen at first, but up to show that he's not changing his pick. And we're going to have us do a reverse order, which means, Danny, you are going to lead us off for the final time this year. Who's going to win the truck race?
I guess, should I wait for Eric to write his first? Or
I'm writing mine down, so I'm not looking at what you're putting, chat. I'm writing mine down. Okay.
Well,
My handwriting sucks. Okay, I'll show it to you in a second.
I am going with Carson Hocevar to win the Truck Series championship.
As am I. I'm going to go with Hocevar as well. Darian?
I just realized something. I just completely forgot. Okay. Hocevar was looking good, and I'm like, nah, they are going to pick him. If nobody's going to pick, I'm going to go with Corey Heim. Let's go. It's Heim time, baby.
It is time.
Let's go. I was about to go with Rope, and I'm like, you know what? Let me switch it up.
And it looks like the chat's going Carson Hocevar as well. Or
Yeah.
No, it's very split between him and Heim.
Is Heim coming up? Well, that doesn't affect me because I've been holding this up here. You guys know I'm not cheating. I'm going Grant Enfinger.
Ooh.
Hey, he's the veteran. He won at Gateway. He won at Milwaukee. Both kind of flat, shorter ovals. Hey, bodes well for Phoenix. I'm betting on GMS going out on top.
All right. We're going to have to do a poll between the 11 and 42, it looks like. I have to do a poll.
Oh, wait. I thought it was Hocevar and Rhodes. Hold on. I'll redo that then.
No.
No, it's not Ben Rhodes.
I didn't even see one Rhodes. I don't think.
I saw a couple early.
Yeah, I don't think there was a single one.
Okay, so
Rhodes time doesn't sound as good as Heim time to me.
Hocevar and Heim. Okay.
There you go.
People, the chat would not believe how much it is funny.
I like that Ben Rhodes still got some votes in that little short poll.
Yeah. Chat, trust me, running these streams ain't as easy as it looks. It's easy, just not that easy. The Hocevar and Heim.
Yes, sir.
All right. 11 and 42. I'm just gonna put the numbers. That way I can't screw it up. All right, 11 and 42. Why won't it let me write? There we go. 42. There we go. It's up. Xfinity picks. Let's go.
I'm writing mine down.
Danny, who do you got winning the Xfinity race?
Oh, for the Xfinity Series, JGR has won it the last 2 years. Daniel Hemrick and Ty Gibbs, and it's going to continue with John Hunter Nemechek winning the championship this year.
I got old Nemechek as well, so we're the same on this one at least. By the way, I'm going to end the poll now. It's looking like it's Hocevar as the pick.
Well, I think they also realize how close Darian is, and they can't go with the same vote as him.
We'll end on that one. Hocevar is the pick for the chat. And really quick, I'm keeping track here. It's looking like a lot of 20s and 7s.
Yes, 20 and 7. Some 00, but not as much as those other two.
I'm going to put the poll up now for that.
Okay.
So, Darian, when it comes to the Xfinity, who do you got?
It's his time, man. It's his time, bro. It's been so long. On one side, I think it's this one driver's time, but then on the other side, I'm like, I got to go with the hot hand here, and I'm looking at the poll. Oh, you know what? Nah, I don't want to take no chances. I'm gonna go with Sam Mayer, the Xfinity Series champion.
I love this. Darian's getting some good picks in here. He's able to he's able to be the contrarian because he has to be to make up points.
I might as well.
He's actually get Heim. The fact that he was able to get Heim last round.
Hey, I was the only one. That was crazy.
I know.
I'm like, wait a minute, hold up.
Wow. And look at that poll.
Yeah, they did not know who to go for.
And I don't want to show my card yet.
It's just a 50-50 back and forth. Every time it goes to an even number of votes, okay, now it's a little edge for the 7, but every time it was going to an even number of votes, it would go back to 50-50. Meaning it was like one ahead, one not. One ahead, one not. So
we have 490 watching. Let's try to get to at least 175, 180 votes.
Maybe just count down 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, and just hit go right up to 0.
All right.
And
I'm
then
gonna
see where it's at.
I'm gonna count now.
Okay,
it's gonna be a little
they're coming in. They're coming in.
Yeah, it's gonna be a little bit of a delay for those watching when the poll stops itself. But 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3.
It's so close.
2, 1.
Oh, it's the 7, I think.
Yep. The chat's pick is Justin Allgaier to win.
Oh, and Eric got Nemechek.
This is all or nothing. This is going to be some good quality TV on Saturday.
Hey, bro, half the chat's pissed off right now. I can say half the chat.
Well, let's give them a minute.
They're like, we blew it.
Let's give them a minute to kind of level off, cool down,
chill out.
we got 2 picks before the big one here. Danny, who is gonna suck for the Cup race this weekend?
Oh. They got 2 cars running for a championship. There is no way in heck that they are giving Chase Elliott a good car this weekend. They do not care about him right now.
Good job, Bard. It's going to be Brad Keselowski.
Yeah, this guy's been sucking all year, man. He's going to keep sucking. Austin Dillon.
Truex.
Yeah, that's easy one.
And the chat here, looking through the chat.
I'm surprised. Not too many Ty Dillons. Wow.
I say 4 for Truex. They're going to Truex.
I'm seeing Truex. Well, just put Truex.
Yeah,
let's be honest. We're all going to pick the final 4 guys anyway.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Yeah. Since this format in 2014, there's never been anyone not in a championship 4 win the Cup Series race.
Hey, hold up, chat. Y'all want the extra points for the? No, we ain't doing that. It's too much.
All right. Dark horse pick time, Danny. Who's a dark horse that might be able to finish 5th in this race?
Kevin Harvick. It's always been one of his best tracks. Last race, he doesn't probably want to hurt the show, but he does want to go out good. So top 5 for Kevin Harvick is doable.
Wasn't it like some insane stat of like something teen or like 20 something races in a row he's been in the top 10? Like I'm gonna go Harvick. Like,
20.
I would place money on Harvick top 5 in this race if I'm betting, which I am.
I thought he could have won the spring race.
Well,
here.
yeah, no, he's plus 1,500 to win, so might as well.
All right.
And I just realized I'm almost correct on my way early season prediction. No win for Harvick this year.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Look at Danny. All right. But my underdog pick, this guy's really struggled all year. I feel like Chase Elliott and Harvick are the most obvious ones, but this one's so random. And also it's based on the team he's driving for. I don't know. Like he hasn't done anything all season, but hey, why not? Gets a good enough run to build some momentum entering next year. Austin Cindric, come on, Cindric, do something. Poke you with a stick. Do something.
I'll go. Harvick is probably the most fun pick, but I'll go with his teammate Chase Briscoe. He's won here before. He looked good at Martinsville. Why not?
And the chat has Kevin Harvick. That looks clear as day. Which means we got one more, y'all.
Bro, it's the last time, bro. My heart, bro. Can't take it. Can't take it.
I'll strike with lightning to help you out.
All right, go ahead. Oh, all right, we're good. And now it's time for the main event, final one of the year. Who's gonna win? Who is going to win the championship at Phoenix? I was about to say Eric. Danny?
Well, I see our mods are making sure that they don't pick the 77 already, so good for them.
I wouldn't allow that. No,
we ain't gonna do that. That's too
okay.
much.
I feel like I've always been one of the biggest doubters of this guy, but he's managed to prove me wrong by even being in this race. YRB, young Ryan Blaney becomes a champion this weekend.
I'm going to stick with the one I've been going with for the majority, if not the entire season at this point. I think this guy, he's got the upside. He's got some of the trends. He was my pick at the start of the playoffs, during the playoffs, and I think at the start of the season. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I am going to go with Kyle Larson. Kyle Larson's my pick to win the championship this year.
All right. Hendrick Motorsports, forget about it. I'm looking at these other guys, man. I'm looking at Blaney with all this momentum coming in. And then, Christopher Bell, man, there's something about him, man. He makes a championship last year, but then, this year he's ran a lot better. So, and, last year he was off to a horrible start too. So it says a lot. He's had a much better year this year. I feel like, it's obvious to go with a Hendrick driver, but I'm feeling lucky, man. David Bell, you're going to love this. Christopher Bell is a Cup Series champion. I know David's happy. He's happy somewhere. Let's do it.
Side note before Eric goes, Jarrett, good call doing the poll. I think that was the best decision because I honestly could not tell. I saw everyone.
I saw an influx of 12s early on. You know what we should do? Let's just do this. I want to whittle it down each time. Because 4 is too many. I don't want to screw the chat out of their pick. Because if it's a plurality picking for everyone, I feel like that's the wrong way to go. So we're going to end this one and do 5, 12, 24, and then get to the final 2. I apologize because Eric, I don't want to screw the chat out of who they want to pick.
Which does mean, Darian, you are confirmed to be the only one with Christopher Bell.
You got three unique picks. I'm scared. Darian's gonna. I have a feeling Darian's gonna win this. Like I don't know why.
That'd be crazy. I'll laugh.
Yeah. So chat, I know we talk trash back and forth a lot with this stuff. Oh my god.
Just like the last poll, I think it's very obvious.
Whoa.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll say this, we'll go if because Blaney's leading at the moment. If it goes over 50% for Blaney, we're calling it at that point because the majority has chosen at that point. But it's looking like it at this point. It's looking like we're going Blaney. I don't even know if we should run because I thought 5 was second.
The other two can't even get the 30%. It's pretty clear.
Yeah, I'd say call it now. They want Blaney, bro.
Well,
I say call it.
Let's get him over 200 vote. No, I'm kidding. Like that. Like, there's no way that
that's not gonna matter.
I mean, the 24 is starting to sneak up a little bit.
Look, unless you want to do one final poll with the 12 and the 24.
Let's give him one last
last time.
12 and 24.
It's not like we have anywhere to be anyways.
But I think it's going to be way not even closer this time.
Yeah. But, bro, Eric's looking with anticipation. He's like,
we got to be sure. I mean, Eric, if yours aren't 12 or 24, let us know.
This can show us right here. If those voting for the 5, we're just very confident that they don't think the 12 will win.
All right. Last one, 12 versus 24, Blaney versus Byron. And
let's see. Somebody has a vetted interest in both of those guys, right? You know what I'm talking about?
I know who you're talking about. And it's
okay, it is closer. It is closer, but not as close.
Someone in the chat says Eric wants the AI to win. I mean, we're closing in quickly on 200 votes. I will say the chat is very invested compared to usual tonight with it.
Yeah,
it's not very often we start going up in viewership in the pick segment, and a lot of people coming in that are really into this. I mean, we're over the 200 vote mark, and it's looking like
ding ding ding.
You know what's funny, Eric? Like we're all just staring at the chat right now. Eric could just like flash his card real quick and no one would even notice it probably.
For real.
Well, I'm gonna close it now. It is. We're confirming it. Ryan Blaney is the chat's pick to win the
Wow.
championship.
Damn.
Eric,
Hey,
who do you
damn.
have?
I'll go ahead.
So
What's it gonna
chat,
be?
let me get this clear, chat. We enter this weekend only separated by 4 points. I had Grant Enfinger. You guys went with Carson Hocevar. That's going to be a good battle. Then I had John Hunter Nemechek. You guys went with Justin Allgaier. Maybe 6th time is the charm for JA. I get you. For Cup, you guys are going Ryan Blaney. I'm going Kyle Larson. You're going to lose, chat.
We got to show that next week. We got to screenshot it.
Hey, give me, Blaney's had a tremendous round of 8, tremendous playoffs, but in one race, I want the fastest driver. Larson might wreck. He might make a mistake on pit road, but he's the one driver of this championship for that I have full faith, full trust, full confidence that he will at least lead some laps. Blaney, he slumped for most of the summer. That could rear its ugly head. Christopher Bell was in this race last year and didn't lead any laps. William Byron, what was Martinsville? What just happened over there? Kyle Larson is the one sure thing. He is the fastest driver. Give me the fastest driver. Championship team, championship pit crew, championship crew chief. Larson's my pick.
And
Let's go, Jen. This is going to be fun.
He blows engine lap 1.
I'm doing the math right now in my head, just to be sure. But
doing the calculations.
No. It's a toss-up with Eric in the chat.
I know.
This is so unfair. Team Penske fan says, I want Iguodala. This is not the same thing.
He's got ice water in his veins.
You can't compare Kyle Larson to Andre Iguodala. What are we doing here?
Yeah.
But I'm looking at it right now. And looking at the numbers. Let's see. Darian, you're going to have a damn near sweep to get this done at this point. And
not a problem.
Yeah, you're pretty much going to have to get a sweep and hope that Eric gets his 5 pick ahead of the 12 pretty much at this point. Like
Nice.
if you don't win one of these, you're done. So hope for a win.
Yeah.
But hey, you know what? It's been a pretty interesting year with this so far, and
yeah, it's cool.
And we actually have a really good shot of crowning a new champion with it, which I hope so, because I want to still at least remain tied with being number 1 in pick point championships.
And I will not be well over 100 to 200 points behind.
Yeah, way to keep up this year, Danny. Yeah.
Danny, I did the math with that too. It's impossible for you to be triple digits behind this year.
Nice.
Nice.
So
That's
we are breaking new ground here.
But what a way to end it, though. What a way to end it.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun. But that was fun. But we also have one last fun thing to do. Let's go to our final super chat stage break. If it will come up for me. I love that this is just a YouTuber thing. So like all 3 people that are involved with this will like this, and everyone else will be like, oh, I don't care. I love that YouTube put the super chat part of it right where the chat is, so I can just easily find it.
Yeah. And you can heart them too.
So we ended on the one asking about guests like Tree, correct?
Yes.
All right. So picking back up with M. Martin fan for life for 5. Saying, I believe Blaney gets it done, but hope C. Bell wins. Just because he is so underrated as a driver, and David Bell supports these channels.
Hey,
Darian
that's
is
nice.
on your wavelength completely. Hey, Beast of Metal 1989. I've seen you in the chat tonight. Thanks for the
what's
20.
up? What's up, bro?
The reveal that NASCAR had a chance to revoke the RWR number 51 charter and chose to bully Live Fast into sale instead is a brutal indictment of the system. Also, I wouldn't be surprised if Tift and McLeod never see a cent of that 40 mil. Damn.
Oh yeah, because they have someone else like they're releasing it.
I think the speed differential is a lot between the Ware cars and the 78.
You can make a much stronger argument that the 15 is, or the 15 and 15, Rick Ware is trying to get better. The 78, big fans of them over there, good people, but they are lagging way behind right now.
Hey, on that note, can we just say goodbye for full time at least, and thanks for the great memory this year, guys.
Yeah, thank y'all.
Yeah,
I appreciate it.
We definitely appreciate it.
Yeah, can't wait for the diecast, bro. I can't wait to see it. Oh,
coming soon. End of this month, they'll be shipping out.
We should just open the show with just the diecast.
Yes, sir.
We should do an off-season live stream and just Hold him up. We got him.
Hold him up. We got him.
Mission accomplished. CBB, thank you for the 10. It does not matter if Gregson, Custer, Ty Dillon, Danica Patrick, or Gene Haas drives the 10 next year. SHR's situation is only getting worse, and Tony seems just fine to be whistling past the graveyard. Wow.
Damn.
You know
Harsh.
what? I've noticed this the last couple of years, and we've done it. Chat's done it. I noticed the whole industry does it. I love the just don't give a crap attitude everyone has the last 3 or 4 weeks. Like we're just it has been a marathon season. We want to get it done. I do not give a damn whose feelings I hurt. I love it.
And NASCAR shortened the season to 30. We can all be in a better mood.
Oh, I mean, the weeks we can keep the races, just the weeks.
Yeah.
It's nothing. Thank you for the 13-month member chat. Happy birthday, Jarrett. Thanks for all your hard work. Well, I appreciate it. These guys do a whole lot of work with it too. Like don't sell anyone else short. I know.
It's mostly Jarrett.
Bro, we don't do nothing. We don't do nothing.
We don't do nothing.
No, Jared's carrying us, bro.
We're just on air talents. He's on air talent and producer at the same time.
I'm just a pretty face.
They're just like, I'm just here so I don't get fined.
Pretty much.
Alessandro, thank you for the 5. Happy birthday, Jarrett. 26 years strong. You and Slapshoes are among my favorite NASCAR YouTubers to watch. God bless you, your family, and also Riss. You hear that, Riss?
Very nice.
The door's closed and she's like across the house.
She's like,
gonna be like, what?
She just randomly hears. She's like, huh?
God, this chat from Caleb says Darian for real jinxed live fast by being on their car.
Damn, no! Bro, y'all doing too much, man.
By the way, I was just thinking, I completely forgot to bring it up, but I'll bring it up again. I brought this up on my post-race streams. I showed you guys before the show. So I got this cool thing as like a little, $10 thing I'd buy for myself for my birthday. Everyone's like, oh, yeah, whatever. It's a Budweiser can.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Oh,
this thing is so cool. I'm sorry.
Look at it.
That is literally cracking open an ice cold can of Dale.
Yeah. Look
That's
at
America right there. Holy cow. I think an eagle just screeched outside my window. Did y'all hear that?
Anyway, I thought I'd show you all this. I thought this was really cool. So
Nice.
At this point, I've shown this on 3 live streams. So if anyone's missed it at this point, I don't. It's not going to become a weekly thing.
That be the new Dale call.
Oh yeah. No, we bring back the diecast segment. He just shows it every week. All right, this week we're gonna show it up closer this time.
This week I have Dale.
This week I put the Mountain Dew car in.
Yeah.
Blake, thank you for the $2 super chat. Better Star Wars car, Reddick or Bubba? Well, I think people have picked Bubba because of favoring the X-wing, but man, I'm a TIE Fighter fan all the way.
They're both cool.
I love the sound of them, and I didn't realize the side panels are all solar panels. That's how they get a lot of their energy.
I'd be curious to run a poll, Jarrett, real quick, if people think that the diecast get made, because there was a lot of debate on that. Because now Lionel does have Disney themed trains, so it makes me think it could get made.
I think they will. I'm hoping. I'd run a poll, but it would move the member chats away or the super chats.
Oh, okay.
Find them again. Yeah. Grid Flow, thank you for the 2. Why hasn't Elliott won? Is he past his prime now? I think there's a little sarcasm there.
No, he's washed.
He's washed, bro.
They're already thinking about Sam Mayer tonight.
Hey, I'm waiting on that Tia Norfleet opportunity. When's that happen?
No, Justin Allgaier are going to take over the 9 next year.
I put a video out about Kyle Larson's fatal flaw, in my opinion, and it might not rear its head this year, but it is something that he needs to fix. And I mean, come on, people like Dale Jr. have said it too. And I have people going, "Where's the Kyle Busch video?" I'm like, well, see, here's the thing: Kyle Busch isn't relevant anymore at this time of the season. He's out. Like, why would I? Oh, Kyle Busch crashed again. Okay, like that's like his 9th crash of the year at Phoenix, and we'll get a freak out from some people on Twitter. Okay, whatever. But like, if Kyle Larson wrecks, it actually means something at this point of the season. I find the sarcasm funny. More hot piss here for 5. He's getting the best equipment at Penske for the first time in his career. That's why, probably talking about Blaney, he's always had talent, but never the car.
Interesting.
I think he's had the car before.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I think he's maximizing it at this point.
I don't think Penske was ever intentionally slighting him. I just think right now they're hitting on it. They figured it out.
Hey, give Blaney 80% and we have Joey got 100.
Antar Das, thank you for the 5. Why is everyone surprised at Hamlin missing the championship 4? I'm a Hamlin fan, and I knew this was going to happen from the beginning. Also, F the playoffs. You know what vibes that gives?
Yeah.
I think literally on Sunday, like right as as I see Kirk hobbling off the field, I text you guys. I'm like, season's over. Like that's just it's a purple mentality.
Hey, y'all got Dobbs though. He's gonna go up.
I'm like the only one who was happy for that.
Yeah. You left something in the chat about that. I'm like, okay.
Anyway.
Video game sports for 5. Has there ever been a father-son combination in NASCAR history with more difference in skill level? No, that's mean.
I hate it. I saw that earlier and I was like, how dare you?
No, Dave Blaney never.
And by the way, Rusty and Steve Wallace exist. I'll have you know that.
Bro, dude, let me tell you something. Ryan, or no, not Ryan. Dave Blaney was a beast on the dirt tracks, bro. Hey, he just never got, the top opportunity.
I don't know how, but we can somehow probably squeeze a John West Townley joke into this part of it too.
Oh, excuse me. I have an axe to grind. I have to go.
Damn.
No.
No, but Dave Blaney, okay, everyone remembers the Craven Busch finish, right? Who was third?
Yep.
Who was third? It was Dave Blaney. So
who dominated most of Kevin Harvick's first win?
Dave Blaney. I will not stand for Dave Blaney slant. Isaac, thank you for the 2. Hamlin will win a title. It'll just be as an owner. Damn. I love the savagery this time of year.
That's brutal.
A Prada, thank you for the 20. Denny's pit crew cost him the win at Martinsville in 22 and opened the door for the Hail Melon. A broken steering part screwed him in 23. Hamlin gets flack, not for choking, but for his comments and run-ins with popular drivers. That I can agree with.
I agree with that.
Phoebe left a couple super chats here. First one for 5 says, AMR safety truck is a sleeper. During the rain delay at Bristol, that thing was running the high line for 30 minutes. Looked faster than an SHR.
That's funny.
Another one, idea, solid rear axle swap for Cup at short tracks. If it's doable.
If that's feasible, I'm not sure.
Yeah. And then the last one, Phoebe left, says, the big hat hides in his cybernetic wiring. Damn. Have we just like unironically now, or I guess ironically somewhat, but given William Byron an AI nickname at this point?
I kind of like that. I hope it sticks.
Stop acting like an AI driver.
So if he's AI, like, does he leak oil instead of like in the fire suit or what?
They found William Byron where they found Mark Zuckerberg.
He's not a lizard, Danny. Lori Allen, thank you for the 5. Denny didn't make it this year, but I'm not mad at all you haters. I'm hanging in there for Denny in 2024. Denny Hamlin 2024. I mean, my fiance is a Hamlin fan, so I'm not going to mind if Hamlin wins.
I don't even think we're haters. It's just we dish it back, I guess.
I defended him.
Yeah, hey, bro. Hey, you're gonna be waiting until 2044 probably. So hang in there.
So what you're saying is Bubba and Reddick won't be doing it for his ownership championship?
There you go. All right, he'll be a champion that way. There you
go. Corvette Racing 48 for 5. William Byron has a chance to become the first ever Gen Z driver to win a Cup Series championship. That's right. He's younger. I think he's younger than all of us, isn't he?
Yeah, he is. Yeah.
Yep.
I thought I had a baby face. No, don't compare.
Fred Dog 81 for 5. Does Bell making his second straight Final Four make him number 1 at JGR, or does he still need to do something else to be above Truex or Hamlin?
I'll say yeah. Right now, why not? Yeah, championship 4 twice in a row. Young guy. I'll go with it.
I mean, it's the second year in a row he's the only Gibbs guy in the championship 4, so there's something to be said for that. And you look at the whole body of work, though. Hamlin, Truex still right there with them. It's a pretty good 3-headed monster.
And don't sleep on Ty Gibbs. He's really
He'll get
been
there.
I mean,
Yeah.
you look at the just some of the different races, like the Bristol Night Race, the laps led between Bell, Gibbs, and Hamlin. I think it was like 400 something of the 500. And Martin Fan for Life for another 5. To grow the TV audience, they need more driver sponsor activation and commercials, more general marketing, and a good console game. I don't disagree on any fronts. I think that's a good
Please.
start.
Console game.
Tyler McGonigal, thank you for these two. First one says, is there a P.O. box for you, Iceberg? I want to send you a wedding invite. Wow.
Oh,
Love the
wow.
content you put out, Go 24. I do not have a P.O. box, but I appreciate it. And thank you for the 2 as well. Congrats on making it onto Door Bumper Clear, Eric.
Yeah.
Go 24.
Thanks. I got a shout out. I'm not a guest. I've not been invited onto
Not
the
yet.
show.
Not yet.
Hey, you're
I
part of
don't-
the wavelengths at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah, isn't nice to be mentioned.
Let's see. Let's line the rest of these out here. Dynaco Cup Series for 2. RCR really rummy racing. Damn. Alessandro, thank you for the 5. After hearing, I think it
I
meant
think he means
Childress. It says-
Childress's, yeah.
After hearing Childress's comments regarding Sheldon Creed, it got me thinking, did Childress forget that God bless it. It's the most we've ever talked about John West Townley on this show. Groovy Goose.
I was about to do something. I can't do it. I had a physical bit, but I can't.
I
I just
know
can't.
what it is.
Yeah,
I
I know
know
what
what
it
it
is.
is.
No, don't do it, bro.
That would have sliced the entire stream up.
Yeah.
Groovy Goose, thank you for 5 for the 5. As we enter the final week of Harvick's career, I'd like to toast to the cheatingest cheater boy who ever cheated. I'm kidding. First ballot Hall of Famer.
That was one of our first memes on this show.
I feel
Yeah,
like
it was, yeah.
I've been saluting everyone tonight. Like Godspeed.
Godspeed, Spider-Man. Kyle, thank you for your first super chat on the channel for 8. Saying, my first time live viewing. I'm gonna spoil my workday tomorrow now. Diehard Larson fan, but secretly rooting for Blaney. Happy birthday. Well, I appreciate it.
Ooh.
And
Yeah, thanks for watching it for the first time,
that
bro.
inner
Appreciate it.
turmoil of 5 versus 12. I really think that's going to be the battle, but the other 2 have
Yeah.
proven me wrong before. Tyler McGonigal, thank you for the 5. If Byron wins the championship, do we get to amend the 75 greatest driver list? What is your off-season content going to be looking like? I mean, if these 3 want, maybe at some point I can bring back, since they'll be in the off-season, we have a full body of work to look at the driver draft.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm down with that.
That can
We got some ideas.
I can look at schedules better instead of just being like, it's this date, make it or break it. Fred Dog 81, thank you for the 5. Speaking of the Boondocks, plus 1 million Iceberg for using the again bit for the Hamlin in this video. I don't know, Darian, if you saw that, but
I saw it. No,
Yeah.
I saw it. I saw it. I saw it.
People for 2, Rick has to tell Chase to stop brewing. I'm not going to say the rest of that. Power of the poof. My voice is cracking, man.
Oh, I see this.
I'm not reading. I'm sorry.
Oh, why not? Can I read it?
You
then?
read it.
All right, power of the poof. Thank you so much for the $2 super chat. Denny Hamlin, part of the Choca Cola racing family.
Oh my gosh.
What a y'all are creative.
81. Fred Dog 81 for 10. Ben Rhodes is going for the 2nd truck title, but he seems to make no noise come silly season. Is it his reputation as a dirty driver, lack of sponsorship, or is he not as good as his truck numbers suggest?
That is a great question.
Maybe a combination of all 3.
He's been full time in trucks for like 6 or
Yeah.
8 years.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
like
Been a
done
long
pretty
time.
well. He's been very consistent. So I don't know why he hasn't gotten a new opportunity. I know early on he for sure had a reputation for being a little in over his head.
But also
ruffling some
too,
feathers.
there are guys who just prefer, hey, I'll stay in the truck series, Xfinity, make a career of it. So that's that. Could be just that.
Alex, thank you for these 2 super chats for 5 and 2. So 7, I'll say that. Not gonna lie, the new Ford Mustang in NASCAR looks awesome. By the way, happy birthday. Will England, thank you for the 5-month member chat here. Harvick should have done an Earnhardt tribute at Phoenix. I don't think so. Celebrate his career.
Yeah.
I agree.
That's about Kevin.
Yeah, that already casted a big enough shadow. You know what I mean? So,
last couple here. Alessandro, thank you for the 5. The Xfinity field were laced with Vickernisms.
yeah,
because
yes, they were.
They were causing too many damn cautions out there.
Yeah,
I appreciate a good Vickernism reference.
yes.
Very good. Hello, FR for 2. So nice of Denny to thank each of his 11 fans. That is right. I was pretty. Mike, thank you for the 5. Thank you all for a great year of the NWP. Also, Eric, you're gonna lose.
No problem. Hey, one final show next week. Stay tuned for that.
Do you want to respond, Eric?
Oh.
Where's my sticky note? I crumbled it up, but you already saw my. You're gonna lose. You're going down. That's all I got.
Eric's just gonna let next week speak for itself.
He's just gonna let it. Yeah, that's when he does his talking.
How did Darian end up second? Because like after we do all this talking,
I have a sneaking suspicion Darian's gonna win. He's gonna be Justin Allgaier swooping in while us RCR teammates tangle.
That'll be one of the funniest moments ever.
We're gonna get an Eric and chat fight next week. I
Eric,
guarantee it.
Eric, you might. There's a real shot too. You might finish second for the 3rd year in a row.
This is the stupidest chat I have ever. No,
You about to be our Mark Martin, Eric? Come on,
I'm about to say that Eric's going full Mark Martin.
Yeah, or Hamlin.
Last couple here though. Continuing on, Phoebe says for 2, starting his career on a computer or as a computer.
Damn. Hey, you know what? When I beat him at Heat, he probably had some water in the circus. You know, that's probably why he lost. You know?
Nick, thank you for the 2 A+ super chats tonight. I agree. Jimmy, thank you for the 5. How do you feel about Kirk Cousins being out the rest of the season? Season's over. The season's over. And you finally turned a corner, and the Vikings happened. Alex, thank you for 2. Hey, Race Hub, bring back Jimmy Spencer.
I agree.
Good place.
I agree.
To end off.
Hey, Jimmy Spencer, start a YouTube channel, bro. You could say whatever the hell you want, bro. I swear.
Jimmy Spencer on a YouTube channel.
Oh, dude, please, bro.
I think we should have a drinking game if that ever happens. How many times he calls someone a son of a bitch?
Oh, we gone.
If you listen to his episode of Dale Jr. Download, it was that and I loved your dad.
I loved your dad so much.
I feel like it's only a matter of time before, Dirty Mo Media, they're growing and stuff. They're gonna get like an insane budget and just start thinking of any and every idea they can do. That might be something they do one day.
But y'all, that is it for tonight. We have one more show to go next week on Eric's channel, November 8th at 8 p.m. Eastern time, before we leave you guys for another 3 months. I don't know what we're all going to do at that point, but
oh no.
Eric will be celebrating his championship on his channel for sure.
And
I like where your head's at, Danny.
And the rest of us will be waiting for January 31st to give another shot at it. But,
yes.
Y'all, is there anything that we've missed? Is there any crazy meme, super chat, anything else we got? Or
that's all of them. Hey, thanks for the super chats, y'all. This was by far the funniest super chat segment of the year, for sure.
I genuinely am surprised by it tonight.
And by the way, we definitely made up for last week. We went 2.5 hours this time.
Yeah. Yeah.
The longest show we've had in a long time.
For real.
All right.
Didn't even feel like it, though. Good, though.
Well, let's head out. Let's not make it 2:45. I guess that's it.
You do have a feed super chat.
Oh, one more.
Yep.
For 2 saying Spencer. No,
hey,
I'm not reading
man,
that.
get out of here,
Bye.
bro. Goodbye.
Tonight, go get the W. Hell yeah. Ready? Great. Copy. Right foot down. We got to go, plan. Unbelievable, man. Way to keep your head in it. Holy ball. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Yeah. 4. Yeah. I'm done with it. Fix your face. Set sail. Steve, you look beautiful. Doing great. Ridiculous, man. Holy